Get Nasty on a Wednesday. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Andrew Marsh, Carey Davis, and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. 202 Your Time Check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Guys, I was driving in today, driving into the station. I was listening to our guys, BK Ferrario and T-Bone, and man, they were really panicked about the Blues and guys moving all around the lines. And T-Bone was saying how the Blues are panicking because of these line moves, and
that's preseason.
They're already freaking out. Jamie, can you bring some calmness to what we're seeing right now in preseason with Drew Bannister maybe mixing up some lines right now?
Yeah, well,
not necessarily for the season.
First off, kudos to Tanner and those guys. They're passionate. They're passionate Blues fans, and they wanted to know what the hell's going on here. Now, I'm not inside the office with Drew Bannister and his coaching staff, but I have been a part of many training camps and watched them as a spectator and now an analyst, all that stuff. All this is they were dropping the line that was not in it. Those guys will not play tomorrow night. You can't dress everybody every single night. And I think that I know that there's players that they're not thrilled with right now. This was supposed to be an incredibly competitive training camp, and you got one win and 4 losses now?
Yeah.
And your coach post-game is talking about how he's not happy with the effort and things like that.
Yep, which you will hear.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So this is a situation where I think there's certain guys that need to show maybe more than what they have, and it's also a reward for some guys who have shown more than what they expected. So like Holloway moving up to the first line and Texier getting a chance to play in the top 6, that's a reward. Other guys that may be in the lineup might think it's great that they're playing, but maybe they're playing because they haven't done enough yet, and this is like their last kick at the can. Saad, we already know he's made the team. He might be out for the first week because his wife's giving birth to their 3rd child. So he's out. It's fine. Yep. Zach Dean, he's out as well, but Zach Dean played last night, and they can't play him every game. And Zach Bolduc, I believe that he was on the outside looking in today because they've seen quite enough from him. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, they like what they've seen. They had him on the power play, like different looks. You don't do that with a player unless you're pretty happy with him. So this is the lineup they'll play tomorrow night against the Dallas Stars. And then you'll see some of these guys get back in the lineup for the final game on Saturday where they play Chicago and Milwaukee. It's not time to panic from a roster construction standpoint right now. Drew Bannister and the coaching staff, they're still trying to find some things that work. They want to see if they can get guys going, want to reward guys, all that stuff. When you get past the last game on Saturday or going into Saturday's game, they'll probably have some more cuts to be made right before that. You'll get a pretty good idea as to who's on the outside looking in and who's secured a spot. And then following that, get on the plane on Sunday. We're off to Sleepless in Seattle on Sunday to the team bonding, I guess. Couple of days in Seattle, then the afternoon game, and then San Jose. Anthony, your town?
Yes. No, that's not my town.
That's your team. It's fine. My bad.
Town.
Nope.
Your city.
It's Title Town. That's what that is.
And
really
then,
neither.
They finished the trip in lovely Las Vegas.
Yes, which is your town.
It's going to be should be. So there's my thoughts on the lines and things like that.
So here's Drew Bannister on a disappointing night. So last night, the Blue Jackets knocked off our Blues 3-1. I blame Ferrario. He was on the call. But here's Drew Bannister on the Ferrario did a great job. Here's Drew Bannister on the disappointing night.
It's disappointing. I mean, I thought we took a step forward last game in the way we played, especially in the last 40 minutes, and I thought tonight we took a step backwards. You know, we didn't drive enough plays. We didn't, force ourselves to get into the fight. I thought it seemed like we were looking for an easy game, and, there are no easy games regardless of, the competition or what part of the season, preseason, regular season. And we're a week away from starting the season, and it didn't look that way tonight. It all combines. It's not the offense, it's defense, but it's lack of execution. I think we're a much faster team, but we look slow tonight. We moved the puck slow. We didn't support each other. So there was a lot of things went into play for our overall game.
The Blues don't look ready for the season.
No.
They just don't. Now, there's a lot of new faces There's a lot of changing that occurred in the offseason. And Drew Bannister and his coaching staff, they got to figure out what they have. They got to figure out where guys are. Not everybody from a year ago is going to show up, and you're just going to look at them and you're like, exact same role. You're trying different things. I don't think that this is going to necessarily look sharp in the first month of the season. That doesn't mean that they're going to have a Cardinals-esque start, but I think we need to give it a little breathing room here with how many new faces that they do have and the different changes that they're trying to make to their special teams and things like that. I think they're going to be fine. It just might be a little bit of a drag into the regular season for a couple of games until maybe they find their footing.
Yeah, so I'm okay with that from an execution standpoint because some things may take a little longer than others. But I'm not okay with it from a compete standpoint.
No.
And this is something we all know as athletes is you can control how hard you play and how hard you work.
Sure.
It's the bottom line. I can work my ass off and be the worst player on the ice, which is fine, but I work my ass off. What Drew Bannister's saying is he's not seeing guys compete the full time, or some guys aren't competing hard enough yet. When you hear things like that from the head coach following a preseason game, to which this training camp was supposed to be filled with competition and competition, I was going to say competitive individuals.
Yeah.
Then you see an effort like that last night, and you kind of sit there and you go, okay, that's not acceptable. I don't care about you passing it tape to tape. I don't care about you hit the net with the shot. But you can't get beat to 7 out of 8 pucks in a game. You can't get loose 4 out of 5 wall battles or net front battle. That's where it's unacceptable.
The compete part, I completely understand. I want to ask you, how important is it based on the lines and having that continuity with the people you're probably going to be playing with? Because you talked about, guys in and out of the lineup. Does that impact it? Because I automatically go to, like, the offensive line. You want the same 5 guys because there's a continuity there. There's a certain language that all 5 of those guys. Is that the same thing for line 1, line 2? Like, being able to be on the same page with those guys, and if you are shifting people around, does that impact that at all?
Maybe some guys, but at the end of the day, you're still being asked to do the job that you can do best.
Okay.
Bottom line, they're going to mix some lines around. They have to. In preseason and training camp, you have to give different looks to different guys.
Right.
Because especially when you have some talented players, like a Zach Bolduc, if you don't put him with the top 2 lines to compete and show what he can do, you put him on 3rd and 4th line, then the season starts and you move him up to the top 6, and you're like, well, go do your thing.
Yeah.
You'd be like, well, you haven't played me in this spot. Yeah. And the same can be said about a player like maybe Zach Dean. Are you setting him up for success by playing him center between Carey and Neighbors? Probably not, because he doesn't think the game the same way as those guys do, and he's more of a 3rd-line checker. So you move guys around, you try to give them the best opportunity possible. At the end of the day, I've always said it doesn't matter who I play with.
Yeah.
Unless the guy's terrible. Like, as a defense partner, if the guy's terrible, then you're on your heels. You're in for a long night. I remember coming to the bench after one time, and it was just preseason, and I looked over at the coach, and I said, "You hate me, don't you?" He started laughing. I'm going to have to pack a feed bag on here tonight because this is going to be a long one. He goes, "Why do you think I put him with you?"
Oh, man.
I was like, okay, fine. But situations like that, other than situations like that, you should be able to play with anybody. It's the NHL, man. Yeah. It's the NHL. It's not college. It's not the AHL. The coach tells you to go play. You just go play. That's it. Don't ask questions.
Jamie Rivers, Carey Davis, Anthony Stalter. It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. You can always get a hold of us, be a part of the show via the Air Comfort Service text line at 314-399-9646. Again, the Air Comfort Service text line is 314-399-9646. Shout out to the Snake Pit. Thanks for streaming us on our YouTube channel at 101 ESPN STL. That's the Air Alliance Team YouTube channel. You can always leave us a mic drop, too, via the 101 ESPN app. It's completely free to use. If you're listening right now via the app or you're streaming it, you can use the app to leave us a mic drop. Anything we're talking about, anything that we're discussing from today, whether it's Cardinals, Blues, or football related. Great. Love to hear you. Love to have you be part of the show here on 101 ESPN. The Diamond Sports Impact. What do we need to know right now? We'll get into that story next on 101 ESPN. what's going on with the Diamond Sports Group? The ones that currently are, Ian, let me get this right. Joint venture with Diamond Sports Group and the Cardinals.
Well, Anthony, what's going on with Diamond Sports Group? I haven't heard anything about them for a couple of years. What's going on?
Well, let me tell you, Jamie.
It doesn't affect me at all, Anthony.
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
You're good.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're good.
Well, no, yeah,
You're good.
Well, at least for a year.
There you go. One day at a time.
Hey, you know
what?
what?
The hell are you talking
Hell of
about?
a show. Remember that show? Do you remember that show?
We're all one day at a
Back
time.
in the 80s?
Which
one day at a time?
No, I don't remember
With a single mom, lived with her daughters.
Mark, she's like, yeah, I remember that one.
And Schneider, the maintenance man, used to just let himself into their apartment all the time.
I think I
His
do
keys on the
remember
little
that.
thing and that cheesy stash.
I think I do remember that.
Yeah, that was
Guy
a great
sounds
show.
like he should be in jail.
Valerie Bertinelli was on that show.
Okay.
She
I do
was
remember.
cute.
There you go.
Anthony.
All right.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
As a young man,
Yeah.
You enjoyed the show?
great episodes. Mm-hmm. Anyways,
I see what Jamie's doing here. Buying himself some time.
so back to the Blues.
Let me tell you this story. Evan Drelich on Twitter had this correction for everybody. So Diamond has not formally dropped every team but the Braves. So that was the initial report. Like, hey, Diamond has gotten rid of all their affiliates, including the Cardinals, except for the Braves. Technically, according to Drelich, what Diamond did today, was drop the contracts of two teams, the Rays and the Tigers.
That's correct.
So Diamond Sports Group has dropped the Rays and the Tigers. The five other teams besides Atlanta couldn't technically be dropped today, but Diamond is implying that they have to renegotiate. So 4 MLB teams with Diamond had their deals expire after the season. The Guardians, Twins, Rangers, Brewers. Those teams could reach new deals with Diamond. The Sports Business Journal reported last week that the Rangers plan to handle, directly selling the games to distributors separate from MLB. We've seen this done by other teams. Yankees. Yankees have the Yes Network. The Red Sox have Nesson.
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 Yeah,
the Mets, I don't know.
Don't the Mets have something?
Oh, S&Y, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they have their own. Yeah. Anyways, Rangers are going that route. That leaves 8 teams still under contract for 2025. Today, Diamond said it wants to assume or keep the contract of the Braves and drop the Tigers and the Rays. But the Tigers and Rays could also negotiate new deals. The 5 other teams that Diamond has deals with, the Angels, the Reds, the Cardinals, the Royals, and the Marlins, technically can't be assumed or rejected because they're not a formal part of the bankruptcy proceeding. Those teams are referred to as joint venture teams. But Diamond has essentially walked away from a joint venture team before, that being the Padres. They were in the same classification when Diamond decided not to pay the team in the middle of the 2023 season, and the club got its rights back. So all of this is still up in the air. But the key here is that people were like thinking that, Diamond dumped the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's not. No, that's not true.
Yeah.
Could it end up being true?
It could be true.
It could be.
A year from now.
So if you're the Cardinals, wouldn't you just say, I'm not going to even entertain this mess anymore? I think the best route for us, because we don't know what Diamond is going to do, the best route would be to go like what the Yankees are doing or what some of these other teams and have our own thing kind of operating in our own space, in our own way.
So that idea, in theory, is great. Mm-hmm. The Yankees have so much damn money, it doesn't matter, right?
Agreed.
So the Dodgers, the same thing.
The Cardinals are broke.
No, but
they're going to get $50 million back. We did this yesterday.
In comparison to like the Yankees and things like that.
Okay.
Where it gets sticky is if the Cardinals, like they could renegotiate with Diamond Sports Group. Instead of getting $50 million, it might get $25 million next year or whatever. It could lower, which is still might be better than trying to go out on their own.
And do it.
Because in the near future, a year to 5 year window, you're probably not making any money because the amount of money that it takes to put on a production and to pay people and have that do all of your broadcast, and they're not going to have some of the same advertising dollars. Like,
right.
If done a certain way, maybe you're profitable, but odds are first 5 years you're probably not profitable. So then you got to balance that against if Diamond can give me a 5-year deal at $25 million a year. Now there's nothing out of my pockets.
Right.
I just get a $25 million
Right.
check every year, and I get my games broadcast. Is it optimal for my fans? Probably not for everyone, but we got our 25 schmil.
But you also run the risk of what you're dealing with now.
You do.
Where this company could say, you know what, we thought we had it, we ain't got it, see you later, we're out of there, don't worry about it, figure it out. And then you're back.
That would be part of the negotiations, right? Like, you're not going to negotiate a 5-year deal on a company that could only be around a year. Like, you'd have, as a business, and you know this, you're a smart guy, you do your due diligence, and you'd find out, hey, okay, Diamond, you went through bankruptcy. Before we can commit to this, show me the books.
Yeah.
Show me your plan. Show me, like, what your forecast is, all this stuff, because it didn't work before.
That's my point. Like, it didn't work before, and I'm sure going into this joint venture, they showed them all of that information, and then Diamond still ended up having to file bankruptcy at some point. So, yeah, I can show you all of this. I can show you the projects and the prospects of what I plan on happening, but at the end of the day, it still could falter. It still
that's
could
just
go
like
down.
any business.
Correct. So, I guess my only question would be, if I'm the Cardinals, do I want to deal with that? Maybe the guaranteed money up in front is good enough for me to say, yeah, okay, I'll take that risk. But at the end of the day, I could still end up in the same position that I am in today, where they're telling you, we may drop you. You got to renegotiate and figure out how we're going to go about this going forward. Yeah, that's the scary part.
And if you put on your own channel, like if you take out your own broadcast, you could still be losing money every single year.
Gotcha.
Because you're learning how to do that properly, or maybe the revenues aren't the same coming in. You're not guaranteed a certain number of dollars. So now you could be operating at a loss for the first 3 years.
So my thing, if you're St. Louis, if you're in St. Louis, you know, generally speaking, fans are going to watch and show up, not the product that you've put. So you have to put together a product that people want to see and a product that people would want to pay for. And if you're doing that, then I don't think you're in a position where you're going to lose. Not only here in St. Louis, but, you know, nationally, globally, people want to watch the Cardinals when they're doing Cardinal things, when they're doing the things that we're accustomed to seeing them do.
Yep.
This team, this version, the last 2 years, hell no, people won't pay for that. They're going to pay $100 or $89 or whatever you want to charge. But if you go forward and you have success, you can turn it around not only, you know, on the field, but financially and making money in that regard as well.
Listen, this is uncharted territory for everybody involved, for the hockey side, baseball side, even the networks and the streaming services. Like, nobody really knows what the best vehicle is for the future to broadcast their games. They just don't. People who love there are modern day thinkers that love the streaming system, which is fantastic for people 30 years old and younger. It's fine for even a lot of us, but you do lose a percentage of your market that are, you know, the original, like, I want to turn it on TV. I don't know. I don't have a smart TV. I just have a TV. I can't
I don't care if it's smart or not.
That's right. So
off volume.
You weigh the local channel. Like, let's say it's a channel 4 or channel 11 starts broadcasting Cardinals games.
Yeah.
Everybody gets that. That's wonderful. But your revenue dollars go down.
Yeah.
So you just don't know what the right model is right now.
Yeah, and Jamie, I'm sorry if I'm repeating something that you went over, but if you're your own network, you're selling your own advertisements and you keep that, great, but you have to provide that content then. And you're talking about
24 hours a day content,
exactly.
And you have to have a whole army of salespeople
that you're paying.
Yes.
You're paying Jamie Rivers, you're paying the cameraman.
That's why I said for the first 5 years, you may not even be profitable. In fact, you might be taking a loss each year.
And we know that. Never mind. Go ahead.
Go back to the 80s and 90s when the TV would turn off at a certain time. Like, it'd just have the colors on. Nothing. We'll see you at 7 a.m.
This will end our broadcast day.
But then they figured out we can put on crappy TV
and people
still sell advertising for these commercials.
Yes. Here is Bill DeWitt III a couple of days ago at the press conference talking about TV rights and revenues.
Somebody will watch.
Under almost every scenario we're looking at, the fans will hopefully have a direct-to-consumer product to get our games, basically an app where they can stream games for a fee. You're seeing that elsewhere throughout the league. So I'm really optimistic that, you know, working with Anuk here, many of you guys have met, our new VP of Business Operations, we're going to uncover every stone on the revenue side. Sports betting is something that we're hopeful will get passed in November. Will help, but we're working very hard to figure out, kind of how to enter this new phase of local media challenges and come out better on the other side.
So a lot of things we just discussed.
Yeah. And he brings up the sports betting, which has nothing to do with the TV broadcast, by the way. That's just to him talking about general revenues coming in, because there's a DraftKings down, I believe, Ballpark Village. I believe, I could be misquoted, somewhere down there.
I don't think they're.
Or they want to put one at Ballpark Village.
Yeah.
I think I've got
maybe like a kiosk or something. Yes,
which is why they really want that vote to go through in November. Which, quite honestly, if you're listening, go vote on that, because there's no reason to be driving to Illinois 15, 20 minutes to go place your bet and then come back over here. It doesn't make sense. And the money that could generate in so many different ways, like, I don't see why not.
It's the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. What's trending is next.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update. Driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues lose to the Columbus Blue Jackets last night, preseason hockey. 3-1. They'll take on the Dallas Stars tomorrow. You can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. Pregame starts at 6 o'clock. Tonight on 101 ESPN, you can listen to Game 2 between the Padres and the Braves. Pregame for that one starts at 7 o'clock. The Padres lead that series 1-0. Also tonight, City SC will take on LAFC with a start time of 9:30. We have What's Trending coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time to find out what's going on in the sports world with What's Trending Now. Brought to you by Goodwill. Donate a car and get tickets to the St. Louis Cardinals.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN with Anthony Stalter, Jamie Rivers, and Carey Davis. I'm Andrew Marsh, and it's time for What's Trending. Gentlemen, Major League Baseball's postseason is underway. We had the first night is finished, and now day 2 is underway with the Houston Astros and Detroit Tigers. That game is currently tied right now in the top of the 4th inning, all squared away at 0. But yesterday we had a couple, I would call them upsets, Anthony. You had the Kansas City Royals, who defeated the Baltimore Orioles. These Tigers that I just mentioned, they defeated the Houston Astros. And then, of course, you had San Diego, who took care of the Braves. But then the Mets also defeated the Brewers. And based on the seeding, that would be an upset.
Yeah.
Are you guys shocked by any of these results so far? I know it's just one game, but
Sure.
Any of this shock you, and are you surprised by like a certain team dropping game 1?
Am I surprised? Okay, so let's go game by game here. Okay, I think the Tigers upsetting the Astros, that's a big deal. Now they did have Tarek Skubal on the mound yesterday, and Framber Valdez has had his issues in the postseason. It was a matter of what Framber Valdez were you going to get yesterday in Houston? Was it the one that helped them, reach the World Series in, I think it was 2022, or the one that kind of melted down the year after that? And you kind of got the bad version, so to speak, of Framber Valdez, and Tarek Skubal just dealt. So the Tigers wound up holding on to that one, but that was a bigger upset. The Mets knocking off the Brewers was an underdog. That was an upset. But the Brewers have now lost 6 consecutive postseason games. They're 1-10 since losing to the Dodgers in 2017. 1-10 in the postseason. What they do in the regular season clearly works. Like, their roster is set up just fine for the regular season. If they get bounced early again, I don't know if we should look at the Brewers any differently next season. Good regular season team. For whatever reason, they can't get it done in the postseason.
Were you surprised by the fact that all but one road team, all the home teams lost except for one? The Padres being the only home team that won yesterday?
Yeah, I think the Tigers upsetting the Astros was surprising. I don't think the Mets beating the Brewers. The Royals
haven't. The Royals, that's the one. Royals beating Baltimore. It 1-0. That was a good game.
It was.
And Baltimore, guys striking out to end the game. Like, that was a good game by the Kansas City Royals.
The Royals have not hit in over a week. They've been held to 4 or fewer runs in 9 of their last 10 games now. Well, they've been held to 2 or fewer runs in 7 of their last 10 games. But when you got great pitching, and they do, they were able to shut down Baltimore's outstanding lineup as well.
You say it all the time, pitching, especially in the playoffs.
Absolutely.
If you don't allow any runs, you're going to win.
Yeah.
As long as you score, right?
Yep.
They were able to do that yesterday.
So the Padres. So the Braves had the doubleheader on Monday. They had to play in the second half in that game 2. They needed it to get in. Then they had to hop a flight and go to Petco. They faced Michael King, who dominated. Do you know how the Padres acquired Michael King, their game 1 starter yesterday?
How?
from the Yankees in the Juan Soto deal. I'm always interested in this. You make a deal, you give up a stud. Do you get the pitching in return that's going to help you win something of significance? So far, the Padres got that yesterday.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Sounds like a baseball trade.
It sounds like a baseball trade. Now, of course, Juan Soto had a great year with the Yankees. We'll see how he does in the postseason, but so far, so good for the Padres. I think things will kind of even out today. I think the Astros will beat the Tigers. I think the Orioles will come back and beat the Royals. I do not think the Brewers will beat the Mets. I think the Brewers are going to get swept, and I think the Braves pull off a small upset with Max Fried on the mound against San Diego. Joe Musgrove has been great, but Atlanta's been pesky all year. Like, they've kind of scratched and clawed to get to this point. So I think that Atlanta evens things up with San Diego.
Are you shocked that, let's say the Orioles lose? How disappointing is that for that franchise?
It's massively disappointing.
Especially with where they're at.
Yeah.
And where they were fighting all season for that AL East. Like, they were going back and forth with the Yankees.
Battle tested.
Just couldn't pull it out to win the division. To lose in this round, I think that would be pretty bad.
Yeah.
Team that has as much upside as they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But this is kind of the Cardinals' point. Now, they haven't gotten to the postseason recently, but this is kind of the randomness of baseball. You get in a game like yesterday, and you got a great pitcher in Tarek Skubal, and he's able to, you get a couple of hits against Framber Valdez. Next thing you know, you win 3-1, and now you've got the other team on the ropes. It's all about pitching. It really is.
Yeah.
So today you look at the pitching matchups. Houston's got a huge advantage, but still 0-0 because the Tigers are going with a bullpen game. Fried and Musgrove, that's kind of even. Minaya versus Montas. The Mets are gonna sweep Milwaukee. And then you got Lugo and Eflin, who both been good of late.
And how about their starting pitcher, the Mets? Your guy.
Sean Minaya. Yep.
No. Game one.
Game one, Luis Severino.
Yeah.
And he was okay, but yeah, you're right. He starts game one for you after a great season. You don't need to go with the big time free agent if you can find somebody like Severino, who's been an ace before, and he's just needed another shot after injuries. Yeah, no, good call, Marsh.
Yeah, I think this whole postseason is fascinating. I want to go back to your point about the Cardinals and how that they have that mindset of, okay, like, if we get in, anything can happen, right? I could push back on that and say, well, you're also susceptible to being on the other side of that because you didn't go full in and try and be one of the top two teams in the National League.
Yeah.
You don't guarantee yourself at least a 5-game series.
Agreed. We just got this comment. It fits perfectly with what you just said. You nailed it. So Droid FX said best of 3 is so bad for a series. LOL. You're right. So play good baseball. You're rewarded now. If you can skip this nonsense. If you don't want to play this week, you don't have to. But you got to play good in the regular season. It puts more emphasis on the regular season. So I'm good with the way that this wild card series is set up. First of all, you're at home for all 3 games. Like, if Houston wins today, they're going to be home tomorrow. Yeah. There's no travel. No, I like the current format. It keeps teams in the season longer, which means your fan base is engaged longer because they're the wild card. And then you got this nice wild card round where you want to avoid it, play good baseball in the regular season. If not, you may have to go on the road.
And you can set up your rotation too.
Exactly.
So, but we've also seen the flip side of that, though. Some of the teams that do end up getting this bye don't fare too well in the division series because, for whatever reason, they have a few days off and they're not in rhythm the same way they were if they were to just, continue playing baseball. So it is one of those things where it's like, well, what do you want here? Do you want to be the hot team that's going into the postseason and you continue to play every single day? Or do you want a little bit of time? You guarantee yourself at least a division series. You don't have to worry about this 3-game wild card series.
Yeah, typically I want to be the hot team.
I always
or
want
the team that's having to play.
I want to be the team that has to bye. Like, okay. I don't want to put myself at risk of losing 2 games and being out. Like, and that's the crazy part about it. You can lose 2 games and you're done, and then it's on to the next. Like, I would rather be the team that, again, has to have that 5-game series as opposed to a 3-game. That's very random. Anything could happen. Like you said, you set up your best 2 pitchers, you're down. 2 games, see you later. Great year, not good enough.
Right.
See you soon.
Yeah, I don't care whether it's the bye or having to play and fight through. I just want the stud pitching. I don't care if we're hot at the end of the year or not. I want the pitching.
I want to be able to work my way into being a 1 or 2 seed and having somebody have to come to me after,
After having to
play, I don't worry about being tired. It's the playoffs.
Sure.
There is no tired. There is no hurt. We get through it. We go play.
Last thing here before we move on. This is from the Associated Press. Alabama and Georgia, that game on Saturday night averaged 12 million viewers on ABC and ESPN streaming platforms. That's according to Nielsen. It was the most watched regular season primetime game since 2017 when Alabama and Florida State met in the season opener. That averaged 12.3 million. And it was reported that the audience peaked at 14.1 million from, and I'll say this from local time, 10:15 to 10:30, and that was when Alabama was holding off that second half rally from Georgia. It ended up being a great game. Ryan Williams catches that 75-yard pass, does a little whoop, and is off to the races. Just a great game in general. And
then Alabama secures it with the pick at the end.
They secure it with the pick at the end. I think this right here, not that we haven't seen an Alabama-Georgia game before, but I think this is just another example of why college football right now is so popular compared to maybe where it has been in the previous years.
And we're now seeing, like this past weekend, the landscape change almost week to week.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
start of this game. He's got to have it right now. And they take a downfield shot. And the catch is made. It's Ryan Williams. Still spinning free. Touchdown, Alabama. They answer in one play. 75 yards for the 17-year-old. Are you kidding us?
What an incredible game. It's Wednesday. We haven't gotten into it yet because, the Cardinals press conference and then all the fallout and whatever. But Alabama knocks off Georgia 41-34 over the weekend. And it was an absolutely sensational game. Defensively, not so much, but these are the two heavyweights in the SEC. And the game lived up to the billing in the second half. At halftime, Alabama was up 30-7, and you're thinking to yourself, why Georgia doesn't even belong in the same fields. But then Georgia started to get going, especially in the fourth quarter. Bama needed that 75-yard touchdown to Ryan Williams to put themselves up and a pick in the end zone to seal the game. But the landscape, boys, in college football is seemingly changing each week. Earlier that day, you had Kentucky holding on to beat Ole Miss 20-17 in Oxford. Kentucky, of course, is the same team that nearly beat Georgia a couple of weeks ago in Lexington. I love this format in college football with the expanded playoffs. I do not think, and I never have felt, to me, I've never fallen for this, where it's like the regular season is somehow diminished now because you get more playoff teams. You got it wrong. The games, I think, in the regular season are more compelling because of the 12 teams. You've got teams that are vying for playoff positioning immediately,
right?
As opposed to just having 4, and you basically have to run the table. And if you don't run the table, you better be in the SEC.
Yep.
And if you're not in the SEC and you don't run the table, good luck to you. See ya.
Yeah.
It's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
The regular season matters, I think, even more now.
I think it gives, again, like you said, it gives teams opportunities. You don't have to be perfect throughout the entire season. You can lose one. Like years ago, if Georgia would have lost that game, you're on the outside looking in. Right. Even though you lost to the number 4 team in the country at that point, that was a great game. Both teams played their butts off. One team has to win, and Alabama won that game. It was a phenomenal game. But Georgia is still in the race. They're still there, in which, like I said, in years past, they wouldn't be, or they would have to win the SEC championship to make sure that they get in, and then somebody still may vote Bama in. It's changed a lot now, and I love it. I think it makes football more exciting. All these teams are competing till the end of the year, trying to figure out who's going to be the 12 teams into the playoffs, and then it's going to make the playoffs, the bowl games, more exciting because it means something. It's not one game, everybody's going to sit out, we're not in the championship. No, you're still playing for something, trying to compete to win a national championship. So I'm extremely excited. I think this has been a really good year for college football so far. You got a lot of teams that are working their butts off. Miami, we didn't even talk about Miami winning in the final play versus Virginia Tech, where it was called a touchdown and then it was no touchdown, and both teams celebrate. Miami celebrated, then Virginia Tech celebrated, then Miami got to celebrate. Like
Hail Mary.
That's football. That's so much fun, and it's so exciting to watch because all of these teams know, man, we still got a chance, and we're going to, if we win, we will play the best teams, and we will get a chance to win a championship. So I think that makes it great.
This is the most fun I've had watching college football in my entire life. And I go back, I used to love it growing up. We had the Boz. I told you guys that. Vinny Testaverde. You had some guys.
Tom Osborne's teams, the Michigan,
Herschel
Ohio
Walker.
State.
I'm just telling you, that's kind of like when it was cool.
Joe Pa's teams.
Way back when. Then it kind of got boring. It got predictable. That's what it got for me. It's predictable. There's a top 5 teams in the nation. Okay, great. Even when they went to the 14 play, I was like, okay, one will make it, one won't. Before that, it was just the top 2 teams playing for the national. So then it was really like a foregone conclusion, pretty much. There was way more bloodbaths when it came to some of the top teams playing lesser thans. Even a number 1 playing at 15. You're like, that's going to be a blowout.
Right.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Not anymore. And like Ole Miss going down to Kentucky, I'm glad they only got dropped to 12th because that's still a really good football team. They're going to have plenty of opportunity to climb back up the ladder, get themselves into the mix or whatever. LSU's knocking at the door. Notre Dame is knocking at the door. This is fun, man. Yeah. This is fun. Every week now, there's more than one game that I enjoy watching. Whereas before, you just pray for that one game.
Right.
Just give me one good competitive game. Now it's like so many games have implications for these teams.
Yeah.
Even if they win, because they're expected to win, if they don't win by enough, they could drop. We see that with Mizzou. They drop, now they back up again because the world is crazy.
Because Ole Miss,
Ole Miss
lost.
dropped,
Right.
it bumped up everybody else. But
absolutely.
So I'm loving college football this year.
I also love the fact too that all the teams have warts. You know, you don't know what if you get a bad matchup, your quarterback play better be spot on. Your coaching staff better make the adjustments. It's not just I've got all the 4- and 5-star recruits. Good luck. This year, you've got teams that do have some flaws. Now, Tennessee looks unbeatable. Texas looks unbeatable.
But
those
two teams, or I was going to say, everybody
Alabama.
Alabama, I don't know if they're unbeatable, though. I don't know. I think Alabama can be beat. Watching Texas play football, here's the thing. They're on their backup quarterback. Granted, Arch Manning is not necessary.
Carey, put an asterisk beside that, okay?
There's an asterisk next to it, but he is the backup.
Yeah.
And they're still beating the hell out of teams. They're allowed to let Quinn Ewers come back and be completely healthy when he's ready. And so I think Texas looks phenomenal. I was surprised that they actually got dropped. Because Bama won. I just figured Bama and Georgia would flip-flop. They would go to 2, Georgia would go to 4, because that's what they were before the game. Texas looks awesome. Tennessee looks amazing.
Tennessee.
Yeah, they look good.
They look really good. So I'm excited about watching those teams. But we also thought Ole Miss looked amazing, and they took an L to Kentucky. So it's exciting.
Or flip it. We thought Oregon's got issues in the last 2 games. They've throttled. Now, they haven't played anybody. And Boise State looks a hell of a lot better.
And that running back is probably going to be in for the Heisman. Genty.
Yes. He is 5'8". And unbelievable.
Will that translate, Carey?
Will that
translate? Because I know running backs are built stocky, and most of them are not big dudes.
Yeah.
Like Derrick Henry's a bit of an anomaly, but that seems really small for the NFL level.
Well, I think a guy like that reminds me, I think of a Warwick Dunn or someone like that, or even Michael Turner, who wasn't a huge.
How big was Thurman Thomas?
He was a bowling ball.
He was a bowling ball, but they're about the same size.
How big was Thurman Thomas?
Thurman Thomas was about 5'10".
Okay,
he wasn't. He's not huge.
I just remember
he
him.
had some size.
He was big.
Yeah. It's not that you have to be over 6 feet to play running back. You don't. If you're small and compact, you can make some things happen. This young man is balling, and he runs extremely hard, and he has the long speed, which is going to help him in the long run as well. So I love what he does. I think it does translate for him.
Okay, good. Yeah. I hope so.
If you could ball, you could ball, right?
Yeah.
He kind of reminds me a little bit of like a Darren Sproles.
That's another name.
Yeah. Oh, man.
He reminds me of Darren Sproles. And Sproles carved out a good career for himself. He wasn't an RB1 or anything.
He started as special teams.
I think he's more powerful than what Darren Sproles was. Darren Sproles would just take off. Quick, one cut, boom.
Yep.
I think he's got a little bit more physicality to him than what Darren Sproles had.
Yeah, he's a good back.
He is a really good back.
So Boise State, like we're talking about Boise State.
We got Oklahoma,
you're something
Boise
to watch.
State,
Right.
Utah, BYU. What the hell's BYU? Like they're 5-0. Have they played anybody?
They beat Kansas State a couple of nights.
They did beat Kansas State
2 weeks ago?
38
they
to
dropped
9.
them.
They beat the hell out of them.
Yeah.
In on a Friday or Saturday night. It was
Carey, your Illini are in here still.
ILL.
Wow.
Yeah. We lost.
Holding
we lost
on
to a
with
top 10
fingertips.
team. We're still there.
I ain't mad.
Yep.
Fire up Illini.
Yeah.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. How much of the Blues' success will come down to the power play? You hear from Drew Bannister and our guy Jamie Rivers on that next on 101 ESPN.
Elevate your performance over at Pure Performance, who are your one-stop shop for all aftermarket modifications. After nearly 40 years of outfitting the best-dressed vehicles in the St. Louis and St. Charles areas, you can trust that your prized investment is in great hands at Pure Performance. They have a 25,000 square foot facility that houses the largest showroom in the area where you can find anything and everything you might need to enhance your vehicle. Pure Performance has a huge assortment of leveling kits, lift kits for Jeeps, SUVs, trucks of any year, make, or model. Don't let any road stop your adventure. Pure Performance has so many amazing things over there, and they're really close here. Located at 3725 Harry Truman Boulevard, just across the bridge in St. Peter's. Beautiful showroom, as you heard before, 25,000 square foot facility. Walk in, ask for Shelby. Tell Shelby that Jamie Rivers sent you in. She's going to ask you what you're looking to do and point you in the right direction, and certainly ask you about your budget. And then from there, just let the technicians do their work. You are going to absolutely love your vehicle once my friends over at Pure Performance are done with it. So please stop by, check it all out. You will be amazed at what they've got going on over there. But if not, at least get to them online. Visit them at pureperformance.com. That's pure, P-U-R, performance.com.
Yeah, I thought, they moved the puck well in that situation and they got rewarded. But I thought, not even talking about our power play, but we were reluctant to shoot pucks, and just our habits in our game, our puck placement, to be able to get to a forecheck, just small things that I thought we weren't strong on the wall. So, we ended up chasing the game more than being able to, take over the game in that game.
That was Drew Bannister last night on the power play and the puck placement for the Blues. Carey Davis.
Well, we talked about this all last year, getting pucks on nets, right? In order to score, you got to get the puck on the net. And that was one of the issues. I mean, no offense, that's probably one of the reasons why Berube was fired. They were unable to get the power play going, unable to shoot the puck when the opportunity was presented. Perunovic was one of those guys. We talk about he has a good shot, but doesn't shoot it enough, right?
Nobody's really sure. We don't see it very often.
We don't see it. How you going to score if you don't shoot? And then you got a guy like Jake Neighbors who all he wants to do is stand in front of the net and tip pucks in and get rebounds and score goals. How the hell is he going to do that if we don't shoot the puck? And
can't have a rabid dog in front. You can't. You don't feed him.
You're not going to feed him at all. What are we doing here? Huh? Hey, Jamie, go ahead. You tell me what else you saw.
No, Carey, you're bang on with your assessment. I couldn't agree more. But you're right. The Blues struggled last year at different times in different situations. The power play to start the season was not good. And I do believe it was a big part of what Craig Berube got fired for, because it was just one more thing that was going on that was making this team not win hockey games. Power play did improve under Drew Bannister. It did get better, but still at times the well kind of dried up for large pockets of time. And you need more volume. I've been saying this all last year, all off season. Now you need more volume of pucks to the net on the power play. Regular strength 5-on-5, I can understand the thought process of quality over quantity because of the way the goaltenders in the NHL are so good.
Right.
If you throw a garbage shot on net from the boards that has no chance of scoring, you're just throwing it on net because, let's get pucks to the net. Goalies, especially a goalie like Joel Hofer, Jordan Binnington, some of these, they grab it, put it down, they fire a pass up the ice, they're gone.
Yeah.
And now you're defending.
Yeah.
So you want to control that puck, cycle it down low, protect the puck, just drag it on for offensive zone time of possession until something can open up. But on the power play, man, 1 pass, 2 pass shot. That's what I've said for decades. Any struggling power play that's ever had situations where they're not scoring, you get back to the room, and I'll never forget, like, Brett Hull, Al McInnes, Wayne Gretzky. These are guys that are on our power play. Like, enough but fancy crap, boys. 2 passes and a shot. Jeff Courtnall, get in front of the net. 2 passes and a shot. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
And we'd have 1 pass, 2 passes. Like, some of the time it was Gretzky to Hull, back to Gretzky, up to McInnes, shot. The other would be McInnes, Gretzky, Hull, shot.
Yeah.
Like, it's pretty nice to have those guys.
Yeah, right.
And there's another guy over on the other side every now and then. His name was Rivers.
Yeah.
I was like the decoy. I was like, they're like, don't worry, they're not passing to him. But when the puck came to me, guess what? I shot it.
Yeah.
I shot it so much that Mike Keenan said to me one time, son, do you know we have Al McInnes on the power play with you? Yeah, he goes, he's got a pretty good shot. I go, hey, so do I. See, I scored a lot of goals last year. He goes, yeah, Al scored a lot of goals in the NHL last year.
That reminds me of the documentary of the Mighty Ducks, the 3rd installment of that franchise, when it comes down to the final seconds of the game. And Charlie Conway, who has established himself as a pretty solid player within, that documentary series, the docu-whatever. And at the
docu-series.
Sure.
Yeah.
At the end of the game, he gives it to the least likely guy, and that's Goldberg, who used to be a goaltender.
Yeah.
Now he's playing out. And he also had the decision of shoot the puck in or take the hit, right? And he shot the puck. They win the game.
It's huge.
It's huge. It's massive.
I got confused by that docuseries because, in the second installment, Charlie Conway's giving up his jersey, right, for the more talented Adam Banks. And then by the third one, somehow, Charlie Conway is a captain on that junior varsity team.
Anthony, you know what happened?
I don't get it.
No, what happened was Charlie Conway, during his off season, his parents went to synergyhockeyskills.com. And they attended several of the summer camps.
They got better.
Skill-based.
Yeah.
Charlie Conway came back and said, holy crap. Not only is he better on the ice, but he sacrificed 6 weeks of his summer going to synergy hockey camps. That's a leader.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what else, though? He needed that extra push in that final installment to clear out the trash. And after that, they established a clear it camp.
It's still in the works.
Here's the thing. He actually went to the clear it camp beforehand, which is why he was so good at that drill. So combined with the synergy hockey skills and the clear camp, Charlie Conway was incredible at that moment. Yeah.
So much like the docuseries we were just talking about, you got to put pucks on net, but they look for quality pucks.
Does it? So when you're on the power play, should your mindset, your philosophy, you should be more aggressive? I mean, you got more people on the ice than they do. You should take advantage of that. At times, it felt like the Blues were just like they were trying to be too perfect, waiting on the perfect shot, trying to make the perfect pass.
Yeah,
like you said, it's not the aggression of we're going to shoot this puck on the net, and hopefully, if it doesn't go in, we'll get a rebound and have them scrambling, and then maybe we kick it out and shoot another one where it's an opportunity to score, a better opportunity to score.
I'm going to let you in on a dirty secret.
Okay.
Okay? Coming from a penalty killer back. More penalty kill than power play in my career. When you have a power play that loves to look for the perfect goal, it makes it so easy.
Yeah.
Because what we do is we just shrink the diamond. And we let you pass it around for 35, 40 seconds because we know you're not going to take it to the middle of the ice.
Yeah.
And if you do shoot it, we now outnumber you with 4 guys in tight to your 2 or 3 guys. So now we have the advantage clearing the rebound, getting it down the ice, and making you start all over again.
Right.
Do you know how you spread out that little diamond, Carey? You make 1 pass, 2 pass, and you hammer that son of a gun.
Oh, that's what you were talking about before, Jimmy.
You hammer it. So now I've got to get out in that shot lane.
Yeah.
You're pulling me out of that safe area.
Yeah.
So when I go out to block that shot now at the top of the blue line, you can now move it quickly to Robert Thomas, who, by the way, can now pass the puck through the seam behind me because I've left the safe area.
Right.
And now you've got somebody wide open on the other side. So 1 pass, 2 pass, shot. Again, now somebody else has to react to it. That's why shooting the puck in the power play is so important.
Well said, Jamie Rivers. Sounds like you know what you're doing.
I watched a lot of hockey.
That's what I tell.
From the bench, mostly. Great tickets if you can get them.
Do you think it'd be beneficial if the Blues do something like what Colorado does? It seems like they always have moving pieces.
Pause.
I know they don't have the players.
Pause.
Does that matter?
Pause. That's like when I've been playing for the Islanders, and Butch Goring goes, "Well, I want to get our power play going like the Red Wings when they." The Red Wings? The Red Wings?
Could you use anybody else? Literally anybody else.
Butchie, have you seen who they've got on their power play? We've got Mike Lawrence over here, who's drafted in the 8th round.
Joey's brother.
He's found his, distant relatives, a cousin, I think.
Trevor's cousin.
Maybe. But, so I understand what you're saying, moving around all over the place. But, Marshy, let me tell you, that is talented, creative players. So McDavid, Draisaitl. Like Draisaitl will be on the far side of the ice. All of a sudden, he'll scoot around. He's on the goal line, and he gets the puck and shoots a one-timer from the goal line and scores.
Yeah.
You can't teach that stuff. You either have that personnel or you don't.
I like to think that the Blues have some guys that can do that to a varying degree.
What I'd really like to see, though, quite honestly, is I'd like to see movement of bodies. Not like Colorado, because they're so good, right? But what's stopping Robert Thomas from taking the puck where he's at on the half wall up higher and skating downward, pulling that top coverage because they want to fold over and push him down the wall, fire it back to the defenseman who's in a passing lane, and then continue down behind the net, around the net, and whoever's on the far side skates straight through this way. So now the far guy has to respect that and fold over and skate with the guy coming through the diamond. The defenseman now can drive the blue line, and he's got the short pass back to the guy who just drove across, or he's got Robert Thomas now who has appeared out of nowhere, and he's in his one-timer spot. So now you just pass to him, and he can fire a one-timer. That's what movement does.
If only for that easy, right?
Sounds
pretty easy. Sounds pretty damn easy.
It really is. You just have to be focused. Like it's like football.
Yeah.
Okay. You have certain set plays that you can use, and then there's scramble plays.
Yeah.
Like when all heck breaks loose, and you got receivers now just running routes because they're like, "Oh boy, we got to extend this play." That happens sometimes in the power play. You're just improvising as you go. But you have certain specific setups that you know can lead to shot or goal opportunities, but you have to be willing to do it. Just passing the puck aimlessly and then looking for that little backdoor tap in, that happens once every 40 plays.
Yeah.
It's not once a game.
Yeah.
Maybe they should run an NBA offense on the power play.
Set a pick.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful. They're looking for that now.
Yeah, set a pick.
You know who else?
Pick at the goal. Pick at the goal line.
You know who else ran an NBA play in a hockey game?
Yes, I do.
That would be Charlie Conway of the Ducks.
Yeah.
The one play that they can.
It was the alley-oop.
The one play.
That's right.
The one play that they can use that does incorporate a pick that won't get called is right now you have the bumper in the middle of the power play. And you got Jake Neighbors down on the goal line in front of the net. On the goal line when the puck's on the half wall.
Yeah.
You move Booch down in front of the net, and you send him right to the strong side post, which is the same side as where the puck is at.
Okay.
And you have him set up shop tripod. And then you pass the puck to Jake Neighbors, who now walks around Pavel Buchnevich, who is now blocking the coverage behind. The defenseman can't get away from behind him.
Yeah.
And now he's walking into that open ice where Booch was. It's available. And now he gets a shot on net, and you have the net front presence with Booch. So there is some plays you can run.
By the way, Parker Meadows just homered to make it 1-0 Tigers in the top of the 6th.
Ooh, baby. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
So our Detroit Tigers. One game away from advancing and knocking off those dirty Astros. Those dirty trash can loving Astros. Yeah.
Let's go.
You like that?
Whereas the young team that I managed in T-ball this past year. We were the Astros, and all the kids just kept calling them the Asteroids.
I was thinking something else. I was worried there for a second.
One of the kids may have gone that route, Jamie, but most of them are like,
Count on our guy.
Count
on our boy.
Yeah, every time we're like, all right, guys, Astros on 3, 1, 2, 3, Asteroids. And like, no, let's go Roids. All right, close enough. It's Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. Our organization's focused on the spectacle of a young QB rather than the actual player development. Some interesting comments made by the one and only Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee Show. You'll hear that next on 101 ESPN. Fastlane on 101 ESPN. So Aaron Rodgers appeared recently on the Pat McAfee show, and he was talking about young quarterbacks, and kind of led to Marsh asking the question to us is whether or not organizations are focused too much on the spectacle of young quarterbacks as opposed to the actual player development. But want you to listen to Aaron Rodgers' comments first on the Pat McAfee show.
Most of us are system quarterbacks, and that's gotten a knock as being like, oh, you're only a system. Some of us can be the system. You can bring a certain type of way of playing, and you add in a cadence or play fake ability or different things that evolves the system. But there's guys that can plug and play. I mean, you got the guys listed there. Andy Dalton played in a lot of systems. He's a plug and play guy. Joe Flacco, plug and play guy. Kirk Cousins, plug and play. I mean, all those guys. I could say about all those guys. But they all. See, Baker was a top pick. Sam was a top pick. Andy was a top pick. Flacco was first rounder. Kirk, I think, was a second rounder. Gardner was a later pick, I believe. Not sure about Derek, but a lot of those guys, had some struggles early in their career, and it takes a while. The development of the quarterback, that's why you got to give so much credit to what Jaden's doing in Washington, because that's the outlier. That's the anomaly. Most of us, it takes a little time for us to figure it out, and especially with the way quarterbacks are being coached in college, and they're not calling plays, they're not audibling, they're not huddling up, they're not taking a snap under center. The NFL is a different game. The NFL is playing under center, especially with the way defenses are playing now with all this two-shell. You got to play under center. You got to run the football, and you got to have play action, as you guys said that stat about Jared Goff and all the yards that came off of the action game. There's a learning curve, and that's why what Jaden's doing in Washington is an outlier, and he deserves a lot of credit, as does Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn for obviously the environment he's created there. But most of us, we take a little time to get into it. We need some time to learn the game, to grow, to not have overreactions about our play.
I want to focus. So he said a lot there, right?
He said a lot of really good stuff.
He did. I want to focus on one thing and Carey, I am interested to hear your thoughts on this. Not only because you played the game at the highest level, but you also coach, and you're an offensive coach. You run your own playbook. You run your own offense. Mm-hmm. What he said about the two shell, I thought was perfect. You've got Mel Kiper complaining about the two deep safeties ruining the league, when Rodgers is saying, get back under center, mm-hmm. run the football, and you'll get teams out of that two shell.
Yes.
If you're constantly in shotgun, there's half the running backs can run out of shotgun. The other half need to be Derrick Henry, and they're in the backfield. If you can put your quarterbacks back under center, get play action going a lot more, maybe you get out of some of that the RPOs and stuff that dominated the league for a decade. You'll get those defenses to get out of that two shell and go back to one safety.
Yeah.
It's all strategy. You don't need to eliminate a certain style of defense because you think it's unbeatable. It's not. But I like what he said about getting quarterbacks back under center.
Well, getting under center helps with everything. If you have that too high look, that means there are 7 people in the box, which means we're running the football.
Yeah.
We are going to run the ball. We have the advantage. We got enough people to block them. We got to make one guy miss, and we're to the safety. Like, that's the mindset of having too high safety look. When you're under center, what it also does is when you run play action pass, your back is to the defense. You turn around and you play action pass. The defense can't see where the ball is. They assume that it's being handed off, which forces them to come up. You keep the ball. Now you have those receivers running behind the linebackers in front of the safeties. You have guys getting behind the safeties and the corners because those guys are also looking up. It just helps with everything. When you run play action out of the shotgun, the defense is looking me square in my face. They can see the play action. They can see where the ball is going or where it isn't going, and they can get to their spots a lot faster. So it changes the game. And he also talked about quarterbacks in college, the understanding, like it's so different at that level because they don't huddle. They're not calling plays. They're on the sideline with flashcards, or they're in their ear now, and they're telling them where to look, who to look to, and there's no audibles. If a safety comes down, we just look to the sideline, and the coach tells us what new play to run. The quarterback doesn't have to think. So just being in a spot where quarterbacks are the offense is married to what they do well. I think that's important. It takes some people a little bit longer to figure out how to run an offense, how to call a play, how to have the cadence, how to have the inflection in your voice where you can get people to jump off sides and change up the snap count. Like, all of those things matter at the NFL level. And if you're not doing that in college, it's going to take you a few years to learn how to do that. And otherwise, you're not going to have success.
I have a question for Carey and you, Anthony. I listen to a lot of football talk. I listen to you guys very closely. I also watch a lot of TV and listen to what I consider to be very reputable people. Why on earth would somebody create their own offense to where you don't have multiple looks? And what I mean by that, maybe my terminology is wrong. If it is, I apologize. What I'm talking about is shotgun with all the wide receivers. Shotgun with running backs right there. Under center, hand the ball off. Under center, play action. Like, why would you not continuously mix it up so that the defense now has to be looking to play two defensive systems every time there's a snap because they don't know what's coming?
Because your players can't digest it.
Well, then get better players.
How can the
players not get it?
No, you're not wrong. I had Bruce Arians used to say, if you can't count to three, you can't play in the NFL, meaning sometimes we're going to go on three. If you don't know how to count to three, you're not going to play because we have to change up the snap count. We have to do different things. We have to line up in different formations. It can be a lot. Like, John Gruden was the master of, we would come out and have a motion, a shift, and then 3 plays damn near every play. You would shift from one alignment to another. You could have a motion into that, and then there would be 3 different plays. Everybody can't digest all of that. They're not able to. The good teams, when you watch all of those, when you watch a really good offensive team, they can put themselves in a position where everybody understands what the offense is, what the play call is, and what the adjustment is to that. Peyton Manning, when I played in Indianapolis, we would have an audible called, and then in the second quarter, that audible could mean nothing because in his mind, the defense picked up on it. Now we're going to call it again. You know, Jane was an outside run to the left. Now Jane is nothing, and the defense thinks that now Jane might be a fake play action outside run to the left, and he's booting to the right. So there are so many things that if you're unable to understand what's going on, it's all about how much your quarterback can digest, how much your offense can digest. If they're unable to do that, then the OC has to limit his play calls. And everybody, well, what are you calling that for? This idiot doesn't know what he's doing.
So I understand.
He can't call it.
I understand a lot of what you're saying is with the audibles and the changing it on the fly. I'm looking beyond that. Never mind. I'm talking about, let's just strip it down. There's no crazy, fancy, nothing. Instead of being in the shotgun to hand off to you, Carey Davis, I'm going to go up under center, and now I'm going to hut the ball and hand it off to Carey Davis. Same play, but different look.
So when you're looking at
there's no complication there.
It's Shanahan's offense.
But there is, because you take a guy like Justin Fields. Justin Fields fumbled the ball 3 or 4 times in the first few preseason games because he was just not accustomed to being under center. Like
Jesus, Carey, this is the NFL.
Even that is a change from, and he's been in the league long enough. Like, that's a change from what you do in college. In college, you very rarely
Well, then these college coaches are failing some of these players.
They're not, because their job is not to prepare them for the NFL. Their job is to prepare them to win a national championship.
I would disagree. I think their job is to develop the best player possible.
Your job,
not the best player for your team.
If you're in the NFL, your job is to develop the best player because it helps your team win championship. But as a high school coach, if I run the wing tee, it's because I think we have the personnel to run the wing tee. Is there any college, maybe the Naval Academies, they're running the wing tee, but Alabama is not running the wing tee. So if I got a receiver that wants to go to Alabama, you show them that you can block, big fella. Like, it's your job to run the best offense or defense for your program and your team. And then when they get to the next level, it's that coach's job to prepare them to play for that team. It's a difficult task.
I think both of you guys are saying exactly what the issue is. It's college. It's these guys are not used to. I said it before.
The college programs are not developing players.
No, not at all.
They're just trying to win games.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so much money at stake now that they're going to continue to do it that way.
Like even in hockey, like the junior hockey teams, they want to win games, but they're still trying to develop the players. They still have specific skill practices and things like that. College level is all about development. Yes, they want to win games, but they've added, like college is way ahead of junior hockey when it comes to development because of the facilities that they can provide for their athletes. There's a level of, yes, you want to win, but the other level is how many players can I put into the NHL? Because that's where your program gets their weight from is, hey, every year we're putting 2 or 3 guys in the NHL.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that college football is the same.
This is happening. Why do these NFL franchises keep throwing these young quarterbacks basically to the wolves?
Money and
They don't have a choice.
fear.
They got to win. Like if you're Matt Eberflus with the Bears, Caleb Williams has to play.
Yeah.
You might not have a job. You might not be able to be there next year when he's a second-year quarterback and he's developed under your system. Good. Thanks for the job you did. Now get out of here. Like there's not enough time at college, at the collegiate level or at the NFL level. You're going to get 3 to 4 years to prove that you can actually coach whoever comes through those doors. And if you don't prove that in that short span of time, you're not going to have a job. So they're under a certain amount of pressure to put players on the field quicker than they should.
So let me ask you a question, okay? Not about, this is the way it is. Do you think that's the right way to do it?
No, I think you should develop players and allow them to grow. If a player has the talent to be at a certain level, you have to nurture that talent and show them the correct way to play the game. When I got to Pittsburgh, my second year in Pittsburgh, Kirby Wilson was our running back coach. Kirby taught me things that I never knew. I've been in the league 4 years. Like I learned things about pass pro and the pass game that I never knew. But it took me here's the other thing, Jamie. Some of these coaches don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Oh, no.
Like they had, I mean, in college and in pros, they are clueless. But they got a job. They don't have a clue as to what they're talking about, and you're being taught something to the maximum level of their knowledge. And then you get another coach that has more knowledge. You're like, whoa, that's a whole new world. You didn't know anything, did you? Thank you, sir. It's different.
I get it. I mean, I see it in hockey, too. Where there's people that are unable to develop the talent or improve the skill level of certain players, or unwilling, for that matter.
Correct.
And we wonder why some teams stay in the basement compared to others.
Yes.
Well, they don't have enough resources for their development drafting.
Whose fault is that?
They got more than enough.
Their infrastructure's wrong.
Oh, you should fix that infrastructure.
What NFL team are you talking about?
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Why don't we do, let's see here.
I don't even have my sheet. I don't know what we're doing.
I have a sheet.
Let's do Prove Me Wrong.
Wow.
Wow.
Love that hat, Marsh.
Send in your Prove Me Wrong statements to the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646 and the law firm of Davis, Rivers, and Stalter. We'll try to prove you wrong next on 101 ESPN.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. The Blues took on the Columbus Blue Jackets last night. Some preseason hockey for you. They end up losing 3-1, but they'll be back in action tomorrow, taking on the Dallas Stars. You can listen to that one right here on 101 ESPN with the pregame starting at 6 o'clock. City SC takes on LAFC tonight with a 9:30 start time. Also tonight, you can listen to the Padres taking on the Braves in the National League wild card round. Pregame for that one starts at 7 o'clock. A little update for you on Major League Baseball's postseason. The Detroit Tigers lead the Houston Astros in the series 1-0. They also lead Game 2 1-0. Kansas City leads that series against the Baltimore Orioles 1-0, and they're about to start up here soon. Also tonight, the Mets will take on the Milwaukee Brewers, and like I mentioned earlier, San Diego will go up against Atlanta. We have Prove Me Wrong coming up next, so if you have a Prove Me Wrong statement you want to send our way, do so using the Air Comfort Service text line 314-399-9646. Prove Me Wrong coming up next. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me wrong.
All right, we step into the Honorable Judge Andrew Marsh's courtroom for Prove Me Wrong. This is where you send in a statement that Carey, Jamie, or I need to prove wrong. And Andrew Marsh is judge, jury, and executioner on this. And
Handsome lad he is.
might I add, what a fine-looking gentleman he is.
Thank you.
The Maryville hockey pullover.
Oh, I appreciate it.
That all-black St. Louis Cardinals hat to mourn the season.
Yes.
Also awesome.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, let's start off with Grant Francis Fan Club. Prove me wrong. I think the first college football blue blood to figure out how to publicly prioritize NFL development over wins will get the best recruits as a result.
Nah, that's wrong. The first blue blood that figures out how to spend more money in NIL will get that done. You got to spend money in the NIL now for these young players. Developing for the NFL, they'll get there. You have qualified coaches that they figure out how to play the game the right way for the most part. But if you offer more NIL money, you're probably going to get the top players. That's just the way the world goes now.
I'll give it to you. I don't know if I like that reasoning. I do hope that teams prioritize getting these kids to the next level. I think that's the entire point of college, is to get a degree and move to the next level, whatever sport you're playing. But unfortunately, in reality right now, that's exactly what's happening. You got to pay to get your players. Yeah. So it stinks. Smells like up dog in here.
What's up, dog?
Yeah. From the 618, prove me wrong. The Cardinals should listen to other options on broadcasting games and choose the option that pays the most money. Fans will have to adapt or miss the games.
Well, if they do it that way, the option that makes the most money may not exist, and then that'll leave consumers without any product to watch. This is the problem right now with a lot of these teams, is they've waited so long hoping this would all sort of fix itself or sort itself out. And then you have teams like the Padres that MLB had to step in and play their games on MLB Network and on the MLB app because they had no backup plan because they're trying to, figure things out. No, bad idea. Right now, teams should have a direct path to finding a way to broadcast, not waiting, not trying little things here, little things there. The biggest marketing tool teams have is broadcasting their games. That is the quickest way to get eyeballs onto your team, eyeballs onto your product. If you don't have eyeballs on your product, does the product even exist? It's like a tree that falls in the forest. We know it makes a sound, but if you don't hear it, it didn't make a noise. So getting the broadcast in front of people is number one objective. I don't think you can wait one more day.
Were the Cardinals bad if we didn't watch them?
Nah. No.
Good call.
No?
It's our fault.
Yeah.
All right, let's see what the water boy has to say. Prove me wrong. Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are the best two quarterbacks in the NFC.
I'm sorry, you still have Matthew Stafford in the NFC. He won a Super Bowl.
Jared Goff.
You got Jared Goff, who went to a Super Bowl, went to the NFC Championship game last year. How did Jalen Hurts look a couple of years ago?
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. And Jaden Daniels looks like he's off to a fantastic start. Now, do I love Sam Darnold? We all do. Okay? He looks good in that purple. There's no question about it. Yeah. Is he off to a great 4-week start? Yes. Has Baker Mayfield played well? Yeah. But we're talking about quarterbacks that have long established who they are. Maybe not Jaden Daniels, but Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Jalen Hurts, even a Geno Smith has looked fantastic as well. These guys have long established themselves over the last couple of years, if not the last 10 years, as the top dogs in the NFC.
We're going to do something I don't think we've done before. I'm going to ask you a question because I'm a little confused right now. Mm-hmm. I'm going to give you two quarterbacks to put over these two. Just two. Mm-hmm. Who are those quarterbacks?
Okay.
In the NFC?
In the NFC.
Wait, what?
He's going to ask you for two quarterbacks.
I need two quarterbacks. You named a few different quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And some of those quarterbacks, I would argue that you could easily get the ding. The X, I'm sorry.
Okay.
You want the ding?
You want the ding or you want the X, Anthony?
So
I just need two quarterbacks. That are better than Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield right now in the NFC.
Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
And Jalen Hurts.
Jared Goff.
He doesn't like Jared Goff.
He went 18 for 18.
Hey, do you like Jared Goff?
Jared Goff is fine.
He just put him down a day ago. I'm reading the judge on this one.
I did not need to hear Jalen Hurts in that statement.
I agree with that.
I agree with that.
If I said Jared Goff, be honest. If I said
I gave you the ding.
What about Jaden Daniels right now?
That was the two I mentioned first, was Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff.
That's why I needed clarification, because you also mentioned Jalen Hurts, who I think has not looked good at all. I'm talking about this year.
Oh, this year?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
If we're taking a whole body of work, what are they doing?
Other than
What are you, the Cardinals?
This year?
Talking about 3 years ago? He's so mad right now. Let's kill us all.
He just killed Jared Goff a day ago.
What?
Oh, man.
Well, what did I say a day ago? I didn't kill Jared Goff.
Do you don't think Jared Goff is that good? We just had the whole conversation about Jared Goff taking the team to the Super Bowl and then back to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
But you didn't like him a day ago.
That was a day ago, Anthony. What have you done for me
Kids
lately?
these days, don't you know?
Let me just say this. I'm wrong. I'm an idiot. There's no question about that. You guys, all three of you collectively and individually, are smarter and handsomer than I am.
Don't do this.
No,
Don't go down that path.
Can we go? No.
Are
We're
we
not
good
doing
now?
the wah, wah,
We're not doing this.
No.
No, okay.
You two, good teammates, by the way. You two, good teammates.
I was trying to give you the.
I said Jared Goff.
I said Goff first. I said Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff.
And I went Jared Goff.
And said Jalen Hurts. I said, oh. It was a test, Anthony. He was testing you.
Well, then I failed the test.
I tried to get. And you didn't,
I almost said it, but I was like, if I say it,
he's gonna buzz.
He's gonna buzz because I said it.
We
for
knew
you.
we couldn't say it.
Let me state. I already got the X. Matthew Stafford and Jared Goff are better quarterbacks in the NFC than those other two.
Thank you. Too little, too late.
I realize that. I already got the X. I'm not looking for redemption here. Let me state this for a fact. Stafford and Goff are better than those two.
Jared Goff has looked good this year. We're talking about this year. The Rams did not want Jared Goff a few years ago, and there was a reason why. But Jared Goff looks good this year.
Go.
If it came down to in ever, Bob, and Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield, you didn't even have to say anybody. I would have gave you the dig.
You know what? You should have been on the OJ trial. You should have been on the OJ trial because you're as incompetent as they were. Whoa! A mountain of evidence, but no, we're gonna let OJ go.
All right, this segment's over. Let's go to commercial.
It's going to have to be. We're going to get another.
Do you guys want a redemption here?
Yes, please.
Don't
sir.
let Anthony
Good,
do
sir.
it.
Good, sir.
You're a horrible teammate.
Hey, we're the same jersey as you.
I know. Look at us.
Unbelievable.
And you.
I didn't say anything. I should have.
Oh my goodness!
Should have saved it for us.
Next time I'm stepping in.
All right, maybe this one is a joint effort. I'll allow that. Mr. Koufax has too many co-counsels. Anyways, from the 314. Prove me wrong. Mo still has a strong legacy and definitely did not let the Cardinal way crumble under his watch.
Have you seen the baseball, the uninspired baseball in the last couple of years? Have you seen the decline of the Cardinals franchise in the last 10 years? Like, I know Mo was technically, air quotes, at the helm for the last time they won the World Series, but we all know that really wasn't his team. He was gifted a championship team. Since then, the Cardinal way, think about where the Cardinal way was in 2010, 2009, 2011. Think about where it is right now. Who has been at the helm from that point then until now? It has been one man who stares down his nose and talks down to us all the time. That guy, he's done that. So yes, I think his legacy, if you look at the body of work, contrary to what other people said at the press conference, if you look at his body of work, it's been fine. Fine. But if you look at the last couple of years, which really has been the problem, it's been no good.
Get him.
No matter, I don't care if they won 83 games. I know that's quite, some people are celebrating that. I'm not, because I'm watching games on TV right now that don't have the birds on the bat playing. So for me, that's all I need to determine the legacy.
What a redemption.
Good job, Jamie.
For this law firm.
I'm not going to be allowed at Busch Stadium for 5 years.
I think we've all punted that opportunity.
Yep.
All right, it's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. By the way, the Astros have climbed back into this game and have taken the lead from the Tigers. They are now up 2-1. The Royals have also jumped out to a 1-0 lead as Pasquantino singled to right field. He was hurt. He was injured the last, month or so with I think it was a broken finger or fractured finger or something like that, but he came back, and now the Royals are up 1-0 as they head to the bottom of the first in Baltimore. It's Fastlane on 101 ESPN. Can the Blues afford a slow start in October, much like the Cardinals did in April? No. We'll tell you why next on 101 ESPN. Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they're fantastic, and they've got great deals. They've got great deals on Nissan Pathfinders, Nissan Rogues, Altimas, and if you're looking for something that's not Nissan-related, they've got other makes and models, too. Over 700 vehicles all in one location at Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, and start online. Go to AutoCentersNissan.com. That's what my wife, Kristen, and I did when we were searching for a new vehicle. We perused what they had on the lot, and then what we did was we took the test drives, and we test drove, 4 or 5 vehicles, and we fell in love with a pre-owned Pathfinder that had really low mileage, and it was a great deal, and we got the 30-day new car return promise, as well as the complimentary lifetime warranty on new Nissans and eligible used vehicles, as well as the complimentary 1-year maintenance on new Nissan purchases. Auto Centers Nissan Herculaneum, they've got great financing deals. They've got the best financing options, in fact, that you're going to find at any dealership in St. Louis or the greater surrounding areas. They've got financing deals for first-time credit borrowers. They've got financing deals for anybody that's maybe got some credit challenges, and it's all available in Herculaneum with Auto Centers Nissan. Tell them Stalter sent you. It's Auto Centers Nissan and AutoCentersNissan.com.
you got to take a step back. But at the end of the day, like we have to get ourselves going, and this isn't the way that you're going to have success starting the season if you think you're just going to turn it on when the season starts. We have to get ourselves up to speed here and quickly.
That was Drew Bannister talking last night about how the team needs to really get this thing going in the right direction here. You can't just start slow. I agree with him wholeheartedly. The Blues can't get off to a slow start in October, much like the Cardinals did in April, and then expect a bounce back. Now, I know in 2019 they were in dead last and came all the way back, but you don't want to make it a habit.
That's not a great formula.
Plus, you had different players and veteran leaders and all that. So, Jamie, talk about the importance of starting fast.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in the mud at the starting blocks here, because the Central Division and the Western Conference, we already know that this is going to be a tough task for a lot of teams, not just the Blues, to make the playoffs or be close to being a playoff team. If you start off the month of October and you're not good, that is not a great setup. And the Blues, they're not being spoon-fed anything here. I talked about we head out to Seattle on Sunday. We're on a 7-day with I'm with the team. They are on a 7-day road trip to start the season. Then you come back, play some home games. Then you go on another 9-day road trip to close out the month of October. That's 16 days out of the entire month that you're on a road trip. Not ideal.
No.
Not ideal. But it can help early on to help build that chemistry, the group, and all that stuff. There is a formula to it that can work. But it works if you're winning games, too, or at least splitting games here and there. You don't want to go out to Seattle, lose to Seattle, hopefully beat San Jose, lose Vegas, come back, and you're all of a sudden 7 games in, you've got 5 losses or something like that. Not great. So it is imperative that the Blues figure out what they're doing here ultimately. Coach Bannister not happy with last night's game. Now, he did say, you got to take a step back as well, because he was proud of the effort that they had the last preseason game, not proud of the effort they had here last night. Mm-hmm. So now, did one lead to the other? You've got different guys in the lineup. You're not sure. It's not necessarily apples to apples. So that's where, as a coaching staff, you do have to kind of remove yourself for a second and look at it from, 50 feet away and be like, okay, let's try this again. Mm-hmm. These guys here, I was very happy with the other night. Maybe they don't have to play again. If I'm Drew Bannister, I'm playing guys that I think need to try and make the team. Here's a little note I'll say. If there's guys that don't play, guys that are bubble players that don't play tomorrow night and don't play Saturday, I already know what the plan is for those guys. It means they didn't impress enough. I think they're definitely going to dress a veteran-heavy squad tomorrow night against Dallas. Doug Armstrong already told us that he talked to the Dallas general manager. They want to see kind of where they're at. They want to play a lot of their players that are going to be part of the team moving forward. So guys have jobs to fight for. It's so weird for me sometimes, because I'll just give a quick story. There was a guy named, I think his name was Alex Godiniuk. He played for the Maple Leafs for a couple of years and whatnot. He'd been an NHL player. The Blues signed him one off season, and he came in on a one-way contract. I was not on a one-way contract. And when training camp opened, I made a beeline for this guy. And I crushed him, put him out, done. Not even fight. I just hit him because I knew what my competition was.
Right.
And I watch these guys, and I'm not saying they go hit their teammates or fight their teammates. Listen, it's a different era. It's a different time. That stuff used to happen. Doesn't need to happen anymore. But you are playing guys from other teams. Go out there and show the coaching staff that you're so damn hungry for it, you'll do anything to make the team. The thought that some of these guys are out there going through the motions when there's no guarantees except for the money that they'll make because they're on a one-way contract, it just baffles me. And if that's the case, then Drew Bannister, who is and was a competitive individual, Steve Ott, a competitive individual, all that whole coaching staff knows what it takes to play in the NHL. Those guys will figure out quickly who those pretenders are, and they won't be here.
It's the Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. We are going to get to a new Gauntlet. Do we have a Gauntlet contestant?
We certainly do. Matt will be joining us next in the Gauntlet.
All right.
Matt Holiday.
No, I don't think it's
You
Matt
don't know for
Holiday.
sure.
Well, yeah, you know
You
what?
kind of know.
His name's Matt. That's all we know.
I don't think it's Matt Holiday.
But you can think that, but you can't guarantee it.
He's probably watching his
He's probably what? Yeah.
Matt Forte.
Matt Forte,
he's-
former running back.
He's in Chicago.
Matt Kessel.
I think.
Matt Castle. Yeah.
Isn't he busy?
Matt Castle or Matt Kessel?
I don't know.
Matt Morris.
Matt Morris. Could be any one of them. Will join us next. Or a different Matt.
Probably.
In the Gauntlet
Matt
here on
Holiday
101
next.
ESPN.
Four warriors, four categories, one challenger. Can you survive the Gauntlet?
Brought to you by Blue Note Roofing. Roofing, siding, and gutters. Call 314-920-5713 now for a free inspection.
403, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, our guy Andrew Marsh, and we got Matt on the line. What's up, Matt?
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Good. This isn't Matt Holiday, is it?
I don't think so. I told you he was busy.
No, not that all.
Oh, okay.
Glad to have you on here, though.
Absolutely,
Yeah, I mean, we're
Matt.
happy to have you anyways.
No,
that would have been great.
No question
This
about
Matt's
it.
fine.
No,
You'll do, Matt.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Matt, would you like to play Marsh, Carey, Jamie, or me today?
Oh, let's go with Carey.
Carey Davis.
Good luck, Matt.
Thanks.
All right, Carey's going to make his way into the cone of silence right now. Matt, you're going to tell Andrew Marsh to spin the wheel.
Mark, spin that wheel.
What are you hoping for, Matt?
Anything but random.
Anything but random. All right.
All right, well, guess what? Good news. It's not random. Hopefully you like baseball. It's baseball.
Okay. Baseball, I'm okay with.
All right.
All right, so 4 baseball-related questions to Matt. CD will get the same 4 baseball questions. Each question is worth 2 points unless either guy asks for the options. If either guy asks for the options, then it's worth 1 point. And by the way, the Tigers tied the game on a wild pitch against the Astros and now are leading 5-2.
Oh, no.
Bases clearing triple.
Let's go, Tigers.
Has the Tigers up 5-2 now.
We got an issue. An issue.
Oh, same questions for baseball.
Uh-oh.
Okay, well, you know what, Matt? With your blessing, since we don't have new baseball questions, we will remove baseball from the wheel and we'll spin the wheel again. Or do we let him pick his category?
We gotta let him
pick now.
We gotta let Matt.
Guys, I was asking Matt.
Matt, would you like to pick your category?
Yeah, sure. Let's go with hockey.
There you go.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
All right.
So we screwed up. We didn't have updated questions for baseball.
Who does the baseball questions again?
It's either Bradford, or Grant.
Oh, they're both fired.
There you go.
I'm done with that stuff.
Okay. Matt, are you ready?
I am, yes.
All right, here we go. Name the only team to shut out the Blues this preseason. Name the only team to shut out the Blues this preseason.
Let's see. Well, they played Columbus. They played Chicago. I've missed a couple games of the preseason. Oh, boy. I know what the options are going to be. Then give me the options.
The Utah Hockey Club, the Columbus Blue Jackets, or the Dallas Stars?
I'm going to go Utah.
Final answer?
Final answer.
All right, Matt. Question 2. The Utah Hockey Club scored a goal on their own net on a delayed penalty against the Blues this preseason. Which Blues prospect was given credit for that goal?
Zach Bolduc. Final answer.
Final answer, okay.
Question number 3. Which Blues forward leads the team with 3 goals in the preseason?
I'll take the options.
Your options are Kasperi Kapanen, Dylan Holloway, or Nathan Walker.
I'm going to go with Holloway. Final answer.
All right, question number 4. Alexander Texier, excuse me. Alexander Texier did have some playoff experience with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Which team did Texier's Blue Jackets sweep in the playoffs during his stint with Columbus?
I'm going to need the options.
The Boston Bruins, the Toronto Maple Leafs, or the Tampa Bay Lightning?
The Maple Leafs. Final answer.
All right, let's bring back Carey. Matt, how you feeling?
Not very good. Not very good.
Hey, you never know. It's kind of a tough one. Carey's making his way back in from the cone of silence.
Hey, Jamie.
Just gave Jamie Double thumbs up.
Don't know why, but that's fine.
Yeah, it's my guy.
All right, Carey, your category today is hockey.
Oh, I'm the hockey guy.
Boom,
You're the hockey guy. Yep.
We'll see. Yeah, Luke Robitaille. Oh, sorry.
That's a good player.
A random Luke Robitaille. All right, question 1. Name the only team to shut out the Blues this preseason.
When the Blackhawks. Oh, give me the options.
The Utah Hockey Club, the Columbus Blue Jackets, or the Dallas Stars?
Did they score last night? I blame Jamie for this.
How did I do?
Oh, did they get Columbus Blue Jackets? Final answer. I feel like that's wrong.
Question 2. The Utah Hockey Club scored a goal on their own net on a delayed penalty against the Blues this preseason. Which Blues prospect was given credit for that goal?
Dvorsky. Doesn't matter. Give me Dalibor Dvorsky. Final answer.
Question number 3.
I didn't like that laugh.
What's wrong with the laugh? You're just funny.
Funny how? Funny how? Huh?
Like an I amuse
Funny like a clown?
All right, question number 3.
Funny, haha.
Which Blues forward leads the team with 3 goals in the preseason?
Watched any preseason? What? Jamie, yeah. You're not on the call. I mean, I watch you when you're on, right?
All right, I appreciate that.
Yeah, love you, man. Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah, which Blues forward leads the team with 3 goals in the preseason?
Give me the options.
Options are Kasperi Kapanen, Dylan Holloway, or Nathan Walker.
Nathan Walker, final answer.
Old Nadub.
Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy.
All right, Carey, last question for you. Alexander Texier did have some playoff experience with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Which team did Texier's Blue Jackets sweep in the playoffs during his stint with Columbus?
Options.
Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Boston Bruins. What was the second one?
Boston Bruins, Toronto Maple Leafs, Tampa Bay Lightning.
Let's go Maple Leafs. Final answer.
All right.
All right, let's go over this.
Let's go over these. Let's start right there. Alexander Texier did have some playoff experience with the Columbus Blue Jackets. Which team did Texier's Blue Jackets sweep in the playoffs during his stint with Columbus? Matt, with the options, you said the Toronto Maple Leafs. Carey, with the options, you said the Toronto Maple Leafs. Correct answer is
The Tampa Bay Lightning.
Tampa Bay
It was
Lightning.
an epic upset.
That was in the bubble, right?
No,
I don't think
it was
so.
the year before the bubble. It was the year the Blues won the Cup because
that's right,
the
that's
Lightning were no longer a threat.
That is correct.
All right, so 0-0 so far between Matt and Carey. Name the only team to shut out the Blues this preseason. Matt, with the options, you said the Utah Hockey Club. Carey, with the options, you said the Columbus Blue Jackets. Correct answer is
It is the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Columbus Blue Jackets. So Carey's got a point.
3-0 they lost in Columbus.
The Utah Hockey Club scored a goal on their own net on a delayed penalty against the Blues this preseason. Which Blues prospect was given credit for that goal? Neither of you took the options. Matt, you said Bolduc. Carey, you went with Dalibor Dvorsky. Correct answer is
None other than Anton Malmstrom.
So Carey's still with a 1-0 lead.
Him.
He'll be a household name
Yeah.
at some point.
Malmstrom.
Comes down to this. Which Blues forward leads the team with 3 goals in the preseason? Matt, you went with Dylan Holloway. Carey, you went with Nathan Walker. If it's Dylan Holloway, we've got a walk-off. If it's Nathan Walker or Kasperi Kapanen, Carey wins today. Matt.
Walk it off.
It was Dylan Holloway, so we got a 1-1 tie.
Carey.
That's painful.
All right, Matt, this is how it's going to work. Carey's going to write down his answer. You're going to hold off on giving us your answer.
Okay.
And then closest to the pin wins. But Carey's going to write his down first.
Sounds good.
All right. Here's your tie-breaking question. Carey, you got something to write with?
Yeah.
All right. How many goals did Ryan Reeves score as a St. Louis Blue? How many goals did Ryan Reeves score as a St. Louis Blue? Carey's writing down his answer. Matt, you're holding off. We've got an answer. Okay. What is your answer, Matt?
I'm going to say 11.
11 goals for Matt. Carey, you wrote down?
24.
24. Matt.
You have chosen poorly.
You lose.
So Matt Matt said 11. Carey went with 24. We know Carey won. How close was it, Jamie?
Carey Davis, Mr. Hockey Guy.
Mr. Hockey.
It was 27.
Good job, Carey.
Good job, Matt.
Carey Davis. Matt, thanks for playing, man. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks for listening. So we'll see you, buddy.
Yeah, take care.
I was going to say 50-something. I was going to say 56. I'm like,
I think I probably would have said closer to what Matt said. I'm surprised I didn't know he had 27 goals. With
Yeah, he was here a long time.
He was.
You know? If he's here for 10 years, gets 2 goals a year.
There you go.
You're already at 20.
Yeah. That's good math, Jamie.
That's how we do it around here.
That's Jamie Rivers, everybody. All right, we have Brad Thompson coming up at the bottom of the hour. So BT will join us at 4:30. We'll get his observations on the press conference. Our team's about to make the same mistake that that the Raiders made with Davante Adams. We'll get into that next on 101 ESPN.
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet, they are the best in the business. Listen, we all know that great prices help you decide what vehicle or what dealership you're going to choose. But we also know for a fact that a dealership that gives you great customer service, offers you great deals in their service area, takes great care of you, answers all of your questions, that's what keeps people coming back time and time again. And that's what the Londoff family offers over there. Yes, great prices. Great prices all the time. In fact, very tough to beat prices on almost every vehicle. But the customer service is absolutely fantastic. They take care of everybody like their family. And I have been a customer for over 25 years, and I've been satisfied every single time by the customer service I receive from the Londoff family over there. So please, if you're looking for a brand new vehicle or a pre-owned vehicle, get out to one of the Londoff locations. The original Londoff, located right there in Florissant, Missouri. The new Londoff Autoplex in St. Peters. Both have tremendous inventory, whether it's brand new or pre-owned, and both pride themselves on great customer service. So please get out there, check out what they've got going on. Tell them Jamie Rivers sent you in. They love hearing that. But if you can't get there in person, get there online. Visit them at londoff.com or londoffautoplex.com. Are you kidding me?
Johnny Londoff Chevrolet.
Window Nation customers have been singing our praises for...
So it was reported yesterday that the Raiders could be interested in trading Davante Adams for a second-round pick. This would signal, honestly, I think a break that both sides need. Davante Adams is still he's still a number one wide receiver in the league, but he's being wasted on the Raiders, and the Raiders don't need to be paying a wide receiver like Davante Adams. They don't have a quarterback. But my question is, yes, Jamie.
I got a question before your good question. Mine's not even a good question, I don't think. But, what is Antonio Pierce so pissed off at Davante Adams for? I'm watching his press conferences, and they ask him about Davante Adams. He doesn't even refer to him as Adams. He calls him by his number. Well, number, whatever, is 25, or was it? No.
I think he's 18.
18. Well, 18, he's like a little bit.
17.
17. Okay,
sure.
well, 18, blah, blah. Kind of disrespectful. And then today, he's just avoiding all the questions. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm on to the next game. He thinks he's Bill Belichick or something.
Right.
What did Davante Adams do? I watched that documentary, Receiver. Seems like a pretty good dude. I'm just saying.
He does, but I came away, I don't know how you guys felt, but I came away from watching Receiver, I could see him being that diva wide receivers. They're all the wide receivers to some degree are a diva. They all think they're open. And he's frustrated.
Every one of them is better than the next one.
Absolutely. So I kind of got that vibe. So maybe Davante Adams, who did express a lot of frustrations in that documentary, maybe that's spilling over into this season as well. And he's fed up and he don't want to be there anymore. And maybe Antonio Pierce is just, I'm done with it. I don't know. But apparently he liked a tweet that
he liked something that said
the Raiders should trade him or the Raiders whatever.
What are you doing?
Get off social media.
Well, yeah, you shouldn't. That's too much. You're the head coach. You're the CEO. You don't partake in those things. You remove yourself from that. You don't like a tweet because even though we're older, we don't pay too much attention to those things, but younger people, they do. You like something. You like the tweet saying so. You don't want to have that conversation. I think if the Raiders are planning on moving on, as you said, there's no quarterback really to throw him the football, which would be very frustrating if you're a receiver to the caliber of Davante Adams. Pittsburgh was trying to get a receiver earlier in the offseason. They were trying to get Brandon Ayuk.
Yeah.
They were actively putting together a package to get Brandon Ayuk. They need another receiver. I know Davante Adams has a wish list of the Saints and the Jets because he can play with his former quarterbacks, Derek Carr or Aaron Rodgers. However, I think if you're the Raiders, you're going to do what's in the best interest of your team. If Pittsburgh comes with a package for Davante Adams that includes a second-round pick, I don't know why they wouldn't do it. Because the Steelers need. Well, he might not. He'll love the city. He'll love the environment. He'll love the opportunity to play opposite of George Pickens because they won't be attacking. The defense won't be glued in solely on him because George Pickens can make plays. And Justin Fields had a really good game last week. He's showing that he can do some things in the pass game. that would alleviate a lot of issues that the Steelers are having. They would be able to run the football better because we talked about the two high safety looks. You're going to have two safeties high if you got two wide receivers that are able to take the top off the coverage. And now you open up the run game a little bit more. So I think it would be the best for the Steelers, seeing that they already were trying to get a receiver this offseason.
It's too bad that we probably won't see a division, an interdivision trade, because really the best spot would be Kansas City. With Rashee Rice,
they would be foolish to do that.
Well,
the Raiders would.
I mean, you're not going anywhere at all.
I don't want to see him.
There is some precedent. It doesn't happen a lot, but we saw Donovan McNabb be traded from the Eagles to the then Redskins. We've seen Drew Bledsoe traded from the Bills, or from the Patriots to the Bills. We have seen a little like that at times, but the Chiefs make the most sense in terms of need and what they and you already have an offense established.
Do they have enough cap space for him?
I don't know. That's the other tricky part.
Because he doesn't make dimes here. He's making big money,
right? Which makes it difficult to move.
Well, to your point about Drew Bledsoe, Donovan McNabb, like those guys weren't the guys. They're older. There's a reason why those teams moved off of those players. The Raiders, I feel like it's just a different situation. Like Davante Adams still has a lot of game left in him, and he's still one of the best wide receivers in the league. And it's not like there's a wide receiver there already, and they're like, well, we need to get rid of this guy. We already have this.
Sure. I've seen a couple of. I think the Jets make probably the most sense because the Jets are stupid. But maybe too, you can trade. Like if I'm the Raiders, I'd be interested in signing Reddick to a long-term deal. Reddick has been a headache for the Jets. You could prioritize that defensive line if you're the Raiders and trade Adams to the Jets, get Reddick and a draft pick. Like I think that would make the most sense. And then the Jets, they'd have all those wide receivers and they still probably can't win. But if you're like the Bills, somebody brought up the Bills yesterday. Why? Yeah, you just traded Stephon Diggs. You like the way your offense is operating. And I've heard of the Commanders. Like, oh, look, Terry McLaurin and Davante Adams. You're doing fine.
They traded away a receiver as well this offseason. So
you want Davante Adams in there, and now Jaden Daniels, your rookie quarterback's got to worry about getting the ball to Terry McLaurin was a ghost for 3 weeks until that Monday Night Football game. You think Davante Adams is going to put up with that? So I don't think that really makes much sense in terms of how the roster is built.
Why would he want to go play with Derek Carr again?
That's his guy.
He loves him. It's his bestie.
It's his guy.
It's his best friend. The whole wide world. They want to ride or die together.
Well, that worked out really well the first time.
Yeah.
Or I guess the second time.
Yeah, it did not. You're right. John says, Anthony, is Casey really that attractive anymore? I mean, they had 2 of their NFL referees go down with it. Andy Reid be able to coach up the referees on game experience. John, well done. Well done. All right, we're going to chat to we're just going to leave that. That's a mic drop. We're going to chat with our guy, Brad Thompson. We'll get his thoughts on the end-of-year press conference with the Cardinals and pick his brain about some of the hot topics surrounding the Cardinals next on 101 ESPN.
If you've got a vision for a kitchen, a bathroom, or an outdoor space remodel, please visit my friends over at E&B Granite. They are the best in the business. They've been in the business for over 2 decades here in the St. Louis area. And how about if you don't have a vision? So let's go back a couple of years where I went down to 6135 Manchester Avenue. That's where they're located. Walked in. I knew I wanted to redo my kitchen. I had no idea what I was doing. It was great. The in-house design staff asked me, and I said, no, I really don't know. So she started presenting me with different options, different looks, and what was trending, what was in style, all the best stuff. And then we went into the back where the countertops, custom countertops, are all layered back there. You can see the countertop. It's not a sample size, so you don't really know what it looks like. No, you see the patterns, whether it's granite, whether it's soapstone, whatever's available, you're going to get a chance to look at it. And then the backsplash was the same thing. She gave me several different options, gave me her opinion on it. And then once we settled all that, the fabricators and the installers did a fantastic job. My kitchen is unreal, and I've never been happier, and that's all thanks to my friends over at E&B Granite. And you should just call and book an appointment. That's probably the best way to do it. Call them at 314-645-9300. Again, that's 314-645-9300, or you can always look them up at enbgranite.com.
ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update, driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. The Blues fall to the Columbus Blue Jackets last night by a final score of 3-1. They'll take on the Dallas Stars tomorrow Pregame starts at 6, and you can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. Tonight, you can listen to Padres and Braves, some National League wild card round action for you. Pregame for that one starts at 7 o'clock. And speaking of baseball, we're going to be joined by Brad Thompson next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is driven by Johnny Londoff Chevrolet and Johnny Londoff Autoplex. See them at londoff.com. Chevy, together we drive. Are you kidding me?
It's time for some high heat with Brad Thompson. Inside and high. Powered by Scott Lee Heating Company, your preferred Mitsubishi electric elite contractor. Visit ScottLeeHeating.com and by Rawlings. Visit the all-new Rawlings experience at Westport Plaza today. There's no excuse for Thompson throwing at the head of play. This is High Heat with BT on 101 ESPN.
It's a Fast Lane on 101 ESPN with Carey Davis and Jamie Rivers. I'm Anthony Stalter. Our guy, Brad Thompson, joins us for the final time in 2024, at least from a Cardinals standpoint. BT, how are you, brother?
You thought you got rid of me last week, didn't you, Anthony? Nice try. Nice try.
No. You thought you got rid of us because you knew there was going to be a press conference where things were talked about, and you didn't want us to call you back. But you honored honored the call anyways.
Well, you know me. I love baseball so much. I'm standing at a baseball game right now. I'm watching the St. Clair Knights against the ICS Crusaders, middle school baseball. Can't get enough of this stuff,
What position's Dylan rocking?
He is rocking injured again, Anthony. This might come as a shock to you. He broke his thumb a month and a half ago or so, got out of the clinic for that, and then broke 2 more fingers. And before you ask, no, he doesn't have dad's anger issues and punch a wall. He fell playing kickball. That's how athletic my son is.
Oh, no.
So, what are you going to do?
So we're up to broken fingers, the teeth, which was poor kid.
That was terrible. Yeah, those are still fake. Yeah. Still got fake teeth.
Oh, no. Killian broke his wrist.
Oh, well, I would say good. I don't want to say good. That sucked. Good. We're all on the same boat.
Yeah. So it's not just your boy. Yeah. Yep. He played it. He wasn't even the game at soccer. He just fell backwards and, buckle fracture for Killian. So he's rocking the cast right now.
Kids are going to kid.
Kids, right.
Kids are going to kid.
Yeah.
Killian's a tough kid. He'll be fine.
Yeah, it'll be good. So
all right. You want to talk real baseball, don't you?
We do. Yeah, we do. So, BT, if we were to ask you, your biggest takeaway from the Cardinals presser on Monday, the one thing that you were like, that's at least somewhat interesting, what was it?
So this is going to sound very Cardinal homery because, that's the role I play on whatever TV station is there. I think it would have been very easy for Mo to come into the press conference, guys, and be like, well, we had a 12-game improvement from last year, and we're going to keep on improving. And a lot of the fan base would be like, what? But that's not it. They didn't. They said, look, we have some things that have gone unturned the last couple of years. We have fallen behind in the minor leagues, and we need to go out and make those changes. So for me, being a baseball guy, I'm excited about that because this is something that we've been talking about internally for quite some time, how the organization needs to make some changes in the minor leagues. Well, to make change, you need money, right? And we know that there's a finite amount of that. But I'm excited about the future part of it. But the big league product is going to end up, you would think, maybe suffering for a year or two. But I'm excited about the fact that you're really digging into the minor leagues. They're going to spend as far as personnel, tech, people who know how to use the tech, by the way, because I think that's been an issue in the past also. To me, that stuff's exciting.
So, BT, you kind of identified a couple of things there in what they said. But, I have to be honest, I really didn't get the messaging or I didn't get the information I think that I was looking for when they just described, hey, we're going to pour it into the minor league system and we're going to, redo our infrastructure and all that. These are all great words and buzzwords.
Sure.
But what does it actually mean? You've played in the minors and you've played the majors and you're still a part of it. Can you describe just some of the things that the Cardinals might be describing when they didn't really talk about it at the presser?
Yeah, for sure. I think some of it is just bodies in general, Jamie. Like, you know how it is. You have coaching staffs everywhere, and the coaching staffs have big jobs, and they're trying to develop players along the way. But there are also roving instructors, full-time instructors that bounce around, coordinators that bounce around team to team. Well, the Cardinals have far fewer coordinators than a lot of other places. Like currently, and I could be wrong on this, I don't believe that they have an outfield coordinator, don't believe that they have a catching coordinator, don't believe that they have an infield coordinator, although Jose Akendo can wear a lot of hats, he can't be everywhere. So, like, those are just a few positions where you might need coming in and checking in on everybody. So a lot of it is going to be personnel. And I mean, even on a general basis, and I'll use the Brewers as an example, I think they have on average at least one more coach at every single level. That's a big difference. And why haven't the Cardinals done that? Because they've been pouring their resources into the big league side and kind of patching some holes. And when it comes to the tech part of things that they're going to dig into, and this is going to be probably change more and more as they get a spring training facility done after the next year. But the Brewers, using them again because, you finished 10 games behind them in the division, and now they're the model that you used to be. They poured in millions and millions of dollars on a pitching lab and facility at their spring training place, and they have done such a good job of finding talent. That's where Corbin Burns realized for Corbin Burns that he needed to throw his cutter because that was his best pitch, because they got him in there with all of the tech. They had people that knew how to use it, and that turned into his best pitch, albeit it was a cutter, I think, that was hit by Bobby Witt Jr. through the hole in a 1-0 loss last night. It was in the playoffs for a different team. But, like, so personnel is going to be one of the biggest parts of it. The data in general is going to be another big part of what they're digging into, that technology, and then people that know how to use it. But it comes down to people, which equals salaries, and data, and all that tech is really expensive. I think that is part of it.
BT, you talked about development, and at the press conference we heard about the changes to the minor league, how many young players have been playing this year. Do you think that with this new development, with these younger players getting coached the right way, that you will see the best of Ali Marmol? Have you seen the best of him if the younger players aren't really fully developed when they get here?
Yeah, I think that he is probably the one that may be most excited about something like this, because you guys know how it is. Like, you're never totally a finished product when you get to the NHL, the NFL, Major League Baseball. Not necessarily a finished product, but back in the day, back in my day, you used to be more of a finished product than you are now. We're streamlining guys to the big leagues who really haven't learned a lot of lessons along the way, or maybe don't even know themselves along the way. So the big league staffs are having to coach these things up while you're still doing a lot of other things, like, game prepping just for winning baseball. And you're trying to clean up some things that should have been cleaned up in the minor leagues in general. So this brings that opportunity. Or then when you send a guy down and say, hey, Jordan, we want you to work on this, or hey, Victor Scott II, we want you to work on this, you have somebody there that is dedicated to helping them do that. Like, to me, that stuff is exciting, and I know that it's something that Ollie has been hoping for and wanting for years. There's just more of that. Your best teachers in the organization over the years, guys are all at the big league level right now. Ollie is a great teacher in the minor league. Stubby Clapp, Pop Warner, all these guys that were fantastic stewards of the quote-unquote Cardinal way. Well, they're all in the big leagues now. So you need more guys to be able to fill those shoes.
Brad Thompson joining us right now on the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. BT, we don't want to hold you too much longer there so you can watch the game. But when you hear...
Dylan's not going to play, Anthony. It's fine.
Well, you never know. You never know. He can get out there with just a couple of fingers.
Yeah, the bench is clear. You never know.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, it definitely does.
Poke somebody in the eye like Captain Insano.
Yeah, that's right. He does have his father's rage. We've established that. PT, when you're listening to kind of, or that the player development, all of that, right? So what does that mean for next season, in your opinion, and even more specifically with somebody like Paul Goldschmidt? Like, what do you think the next season looks like here for the Cardinals, even with the emphasis on the player development?
I think it's going to look less expensive at the big league level. Like they said it during the press conference, that payroll will go down. Now, what does that look like totally? Don't know. But I don't think it has you signing back free agents for millions of dollars for holes that you could plug with guys that are making the minimum, right?
Fair.
So the interesting part for me is like your rotation. What do you do with that? You got a lot of guys that are under contract already. You signed Eric Fetty. You have Fetty on the second year of his deal, and he's not making a lot of money, 7.5. But you've got Sonny Gray currently, who's making a lot of money. Michaelis is making 18. Matz is making 11 or 12. You have Gibson with an option for $12 million. It would be easy to say, well, you just go young there. You get rid of whatever contracts that you can. But you guys know this. Like, if you go young and you say, well, I want to see McGreevy and Quinn Matthews and all these guys, well, they've never pitched a full big league season. Like, you still need some veteran arms that can eat up the bulk of those innings. But I don't expect it to be, going back to the original question, a offseason where they are very busy in terms of free agency, or at least the high end of free agency. I'm sure that you can kind of tweak your roster a little bit. But, that could change, or I could be reading it totally wrong. But I think that Mo did directly say, look, payroll is going to go down. We all know that attendance was down, and this is not saying payroll is going down because you didn't show up. But, Anthony, you're a problem. you're a problem. And we all know the uncertainty around the TV deal. Boy, do we know the uncertainty around the TV deal.
Oh, boy.
Jamie, you know the uncertainty there.
Feels great to go to sleep at night.
oh boy, that was fun news today.
Yep.
Anyways, yeah, we were going on vacation. We're driving now.
We're going to Branson now, not the Bahamas.
Which is lovely this time of year. It always is. They do it up right at Silver Dollar City with the pumpkins.
There you go.
But it's there's going to be less money coming in, right? There's going to be less money going out. But if you're a diehard Cardinal fan, right, and you love seeing the young players and you love seeing them get to the big leagues, you should be excited about the fact that they're going to get every opportunity. Like, you're going out and you're drafting these guys, and Randy Flores and his crew put in so much work of finding the right guys. Well, you draft them, and then you develop them. I mean, you already have all. You got Wynn, Burleson, Donovan, Walker, Newt, Pajes, Herrera, Palante, McGreevy, Gorman, Victor Scott II, like, just to name a few of them. Young guys that came through your system, made it to the big league the last couple of years, but you can have those guys be even more developed. And I think that that's an exciting thing if you're going to pour assets into the minor leagues.
BT, one little quick one for you here, but with the way payroll is going to go down and their focus on development and all that stuff, like, what does next year look like for Nolan Arenado? Because he's already talked about how he hates to lose. He's super frustrated about not making the playoffs last year. He's not happy with his season this year. Like, just my opinion is I have a hard time believing that Nolan Arenado is going to sign up for a rebuild or a reset or whatever they're calling it down there.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a no trade, right? And I think it's a limited no trade. Maybe those limits open up quite a bit more now with that being the situation. I think you're absolutely right, Jamie. I could totally see a situation like that. You at least owe it to the player to talk to them, or maybe those conversations have already happened between the two sides. And when you're thinking about just going back to the idea of shedding dollars, well, he makes a lot of those dollars. So if you could send him off in a deal that ends up making you better for the long run, maybe that would be something that they would entertain. I think that they're at a point right now where you should entertain a little bit of everything. If your focus is on young players and getting them better, well, then you maybe have to shed some dollars to do so. The only thing that I would still be very cognizant of if I'm the organization is having guys around these young players that can lead them. Like, you've got some guys that have leadership capabilities. I think that Donovan is like my favorite player. I love watching him on the field. I enjoy talking to him off the field. I think he's got leadership capabilities, but I think you need more than that, right? You need some more guys in that room that can step up, and maybe that's where you sign a veteran or two and be able to move some pieces around. But I think that the offseason for anybody that's making big money is going to be interesting, like of what they try to do with those contracts or who they want to be able to keep around and see a part of their future.
BT, we appreciate you, man. Thank you. Go enjoy the game and that trip to Branson in a little bit.
Guys, I think the St. Clair Knights are down by a couple. I'm going to go start cheering them on.
Yeah, good. They need you. They absolutely need you, man.
Happens.
Yeah.
All right, boys. I'll see you later.
See you later, buddy.
That's Brad Thompson here in the Fastlane on 101 at ESPN. We keep getting questions about, like, the Bally situation. It's all unclear. We don't.
You go read about it.
Jamie doesn't know as much as BT doesn't know. I mean, so we kind of talked about that earlier, and what the contract situation is right now, and it's all very uncertain for the next year.
The easiest way to explain it is that Diamond Sports Group will be in negotiations with all of the teams that have a Bally's channel in their area. The two teams that they will not be talking to are Detroit and Tampa Bay.
Correct. So they gone.
They're gone.
Yeah.
That's all we know at this point.
Yes. All right.
You're frustrated. Tigers. You're Tigers?
Tigers won.
They
5-2.
did. I'm talking about Bally's, though. They're going to get to see them.
No, they're not. They just missed out.
Got to play in the playoffs then, huh?
Yeah.
Huh?
Exactly. They can be on ESPN or ABC or
it's not a problem.
One of them.
Yeah.
Which is the same company.
Yeah, go Tiger.
Go. Nope. That's
LSU. Tigers.
Yeah, it's not all
Tigers. It
encompasses
all Tigers.
No.
Go Tigers.
Not all Tigers are the same, though, Carey.
Yeah. There's Bengal Tigers.
Yeah,
there's
Saber-tooth
Tigers. There's
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods.
But if you're a Tiger and your team is named the Tigers,
Siberian Tigers,
Clemson Tigers, the Mizzou Tigers, the LSU Tigers, the Detroit Tigers, is go Tiger.
Yeah, I don't know, Carey.
No, not at all.
It's a little suspect.
I thought that was all the same.
The
Not
Auburn
spelled the same.
Tigers.
Auburn
They say
Tigers.
War Eagle, which makes no sense.
No, absolutely no sense at all.
It makes no
Or like the Arizona Wildcats, they say bear down. That doesn't make any sense
they aren't
either.
bears.
Or the Stanford Cardinal. Their mascot is a tree.
Like,
Yeah, that's puzzling. But maybe the Cardinal.
issues.
But maybe the Cardinal's hidden in the tree.
No,
Maybe
I don't think
that's-
it's an actual cardinal. It's just because it's not Stanford Cardinals.
Yeah, but it's
Stanford
one
Cardinal.
But one bird is hidden in the tree.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't.
If you look close, you can see it.
It's puzzling.
Isn't the Titans mascot like a raccoon or something too?
Is it?
It's like something weird.
I don't know.
Like the Tennessee Titans?
Yeah. Maybe.
Who watches?
Maybe I was high when I said that.
Yeah,
Titans mascot. Let's see here. Yeah, it's like a
what is it?
I don't know, it's a
What is it? A muskrat? Is that what they are?
It's not a flaming T?
no. No, it's not.
That's what their logo
It's a
is.
raccoon. Like, what are we doing here?
I've never seen that.
I don't know.
We're the Tennessee Titans. Who's the mascot? Ralphie the raccoon, of course. What are we doing?
The state animal is a raccoon, Anthony. That's from the 618.
Okay, but
No way.
come on.
Gary's like,
No way.
Well, how about the 314 brings up? How about the Alabama elephants?
That's true, too.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
But there was an elephant that used to be at that university, and they called it Bama. So that's how that happened.
Okay.
Yeah, look it up.
All right.
You Stalter that.
No, look it up.
We've got the Sports Six Pack coming up.
the elephant.
314-399-9646. So if you got a sports related question for us, send it in here on 101 ESPN.
If you are looking for the best sports betting app out there, Circa Sports is the place for you. The app is so user-friendly, easy to download, easy to use. And if you've ever been to Vegas, check out Circa, the world's largest sports book. My friend Derek Stevens has done an unbelievable job of building that casino and that sports book, and also taking that giant sports book and putting it into an app that you can hold in your hand and bet old school style. They cater to most people who are familiar with betting, which is why their lines are aggressive as they are. There's no promos. There's no fancy promos for these things. They just let the app talk for itself. They've got tight money line splits, and you're getting the best odds out of any app. There's also no betting limits, and they have exceptional customer service, and you'll talk to a real person when you reach out, not an automated response or chat bot. It's got a user-friendly interface. You bet on your favorite teams, players with ease. It got great props, and it's just an unbelievable betting app. The best one out there by far. Don't miss out on the action. Download and bet like a pro with your Circa Sports Illinois app today and join in on all the excitement. You can also visit their website or find them in the App Store. If you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER or text ILGAMB to 833-234.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
They want to ask you a bunch of questions. They want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six-Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
There was somebody earlier in the snake pit that said, I think his name is Paul. Paul goes, Anthony's always agreeing with Sugar. And I looked up, I'm like, Sugar? And then I remember that was your nickname.
It was.
And he's like, oh, Anthony's like, I agree, Jamie. Ugh. That was Paul. Paul's a grown man that called another grown man Sugar.
Why are you taking your anger out on Paul?
Because I'm pissed off at all
because you
of
were
you.
upset at us.
I'm upset at all of you.
Okay, say the
today.
line. Say the line. Say the line and snake pit. Text line.
But don't Google it.
Don't Google it. Just tell us
They
what
won't
the
have
line
to
is
Google
from.
it.
No, say it.
Go
Just
ahead.
say it.
Sure. Just say it the way you said it to us.
The Wild. So Marsh brought up
Just say the
Wildcats.
word.
I will, but let me give it a little context.
No.
Marsh goes something about Wildcats. I go, hey, tell that Wildcat behind the wheel to keep it under 55. And then I looked at you guys and I said, what movie? And all of you, I don't know. And then I told you. And they're like, oh, it's not a big movie.
That's what he said. Once you said it, I remembered.
I said it's a big movie. It's not one that you watch like more than once.
You don't even have to watch it more than
You're
once.
saying it's not a quotable movie. Like Step Brothers
it's not
is
even
a quotable movie.
moment in the movie.
AJB. There you go.
AJB, speed.
636 said it as well.
What is that?
Oh, man.
Ligma?
Yeah.
I'll tell you in the break, Anthony. I'll actually demonstrate for you.
Oh, yeah. I don't know that you want. Well, question one, please.
Yeah, for sure.
Question
number one.
Does Alex need a beating?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes, it's
Alex,
official.
from the snake pit. You need a beating.
Anthony, it's just it's one of those stats in baseball, the advanced metric.
Yeah, it's one of those new things there. Yeah.
Okay.
The Cardinals are going to invest money into that.
Oh, man. Okay. From the Water Boy, speaking of baseball, is the AL Central now the toughest division in baseball?
Yes. No.
What's the toughest division?
National League West.
Okay. What about the East?
Yeah, I would say that.
You don't like
East
the
is pretty
Phillies,
good,
the
too.
Braves, the Mets?
Oof, that's pretty good.
That sounds
Over the
like...
Diamondbacks, Padres,
Well,
Dodgers.
three of them are in the playoffs in the East.
The AL Central was competitive this year except for the White Sox.
They don't. Well, that's probably why they were getting all their wins.
That is true. That's actually very true.
They're all
Kansas City
50
Feed
wins.
off of it.
I believe
Feed
it's
off the White Sox.
Kansas City's record with, I think, it was one of those teams. They'd be a 500 baseball team if they didn't play the White Sox.
That's terrible.
So no.
No, the AL Central, no.
Yeah.
You can't be the best division. You got the White Sox in your division.
Yeah.
That's the worst team ever in baseball.
And ever,
Bob.
The Cardinals lost 2 games against them.
Oh, don't remind us, Marshy. You don't have to do that.
Yeah. All right.
Question number two.
From the 314, baseball players always seem to be at odds with any umpire. Where were you guys ever friends with any NHL or NFL referees during your playing days?
Oh, yeah, I was friends with those guys. So, like, when I started my career, we all flew commercial. So the referees would be on the flight with you, like the day before, depending on where they reffed, or after the game the next morning, you'd be on the same flight as the ref, which means that odds are you're probably at the bar having a couple of beers with the referee. It really was. And there were times, like, if you were a jerk to the refs, like, they could make your life miserable. Like, I remember Ray Scampanello, who was a legend, and this one guy kept yapping at him. And so finally we get in a scrum in front of the net. I drop the gloves with this guy, and I start throwing, man, get him down pretty good. And then Scampy comes in and doesn't hold my arm. he's like holding me but letting my arm. So I'm like like 4 or 5 extras, and then Scampy grabs my arm. I try to throw him. He's like, nah, I gave you some freebies there. So then we're on the way to the penalty box, and Scampy goes, you want to talk smack to me now? To the other player. Guys, yeah, you should have grabbed it. I don't know. I missed his arm. So they can make your life like pretty bad.
There.
And we had Carey Fraser on here the one time too. Carey was great. He'd watch you do something like if cross-check somebody in front of the net. He'd skate by you as the play's going up the ice. All right, that was your freebie. Next time you do that, I'm putting you in the box.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So it's like, I don't know, my relationship was always fine. Yeah, they made some bad calls, and I would lose my mind on some of them. But then you go have a beer. I mean, they're doing their job to the best of their ability. I never had, like, serious problems with the ref. Although I did shoot a puck at a ref one time. That was because coach told me to.
Then you ran to play again.
Yeah, he's heard that story.
I think referees, I mean, they have a hard job. So, it's even coaching now, I talk to the referee, hey, I don't expect y'all to make every call. I'm not going to call the play great every time I call the play. So, you're going to make mistakes. I think the thing with referees is when they do make a mistake, they acknowledge it, and you have a lot more respect for them. But I never had any issue with a referee doing or saying anything. You would probably have, especially not at the NFL level, you have more of an issue with lower level referees because they may not be as knowledgeable in the game and get a little bit frustrated when you question them about that and them not knowing something. But they're doing the best job that they can do, so it's a tough job.
All right, we'll carry over the Sports Six-Pack next in the Fast Lane on 101 ESPN. If you have a leaky roof, an old roof, a damaged roof, an ugly roof, you just want to replace it, call my friends at the Happy Roof Company at 314-665-3001. Again, 314-665-3001. The Happy Roof Company, they need to be your first call. They'll have somebody to look at your issue within 24 hours. So again, remember the Happy Roof Company if you are experiencing a leak or any sort of damaged roof, because again, they'll have somebody to come out and look at your issue within 24 hours. If you have some roof damage and your insurance company's already paid you, great, call the Happy Roof Company because they've got free estimates with competitive pricing. If you need help with some insurance paperwork on a damaged roof, or if your insurance claim got denied but all your neighbors are getting new roofs, call the Happy Roof Company. They work well with insurance companies. Over 50 years combined experience in roofing, siding, and gutters. They've got financing options available if you do decide to get an entirely new roof. Detailed inspection reports for real estate transactions as well, and an A+ rating with the BBB. Happy Roof Company, again, they need to be your first call. Whether it's a damaged roof or looking to get a completely new roof, call them at 314-665-3001, thehappyroof.com. Tell them Stalter sent you.
It's time for the Fast Lane to answer your sports questions.
I want to ask you a bunch of questions, and I want to have them answered immediately.
Asking me all these weird questions.
Answer the question.
Answer the question.
Answer me!
The Sports Six Pack is brought to you by Paramount Men's Medical Center. Suffering from ED or PE? Your first treatment is free at ParamountMen'sMedical.com.
5:06, your time check is brought to you by Clarkson Jewelers, an officially licensed Rolex jeweler. Carey Davis, Jamie Rivers, Andrew Marsh, and Anthony Stalter will continue our Sports Six-Pack.
Question number 3.
All right, from the 314, Mizzou is the underdog at Texas A&M. Will the Tigers win?
They're the underdog? Is that really is that the line? What's the line on this thing?
Can't be more than a couple points, right?
I just can't believe that.
They're on the road
Yeah.
at Texas A&M.
I mean, they haven't played well in wins.
Number 25 in the country. They are plus 2.5.
All right, so
field goal.
So it's basically home field advantage. So if these two teams met in the parking lot, the game would be a pick 'em from the odds maker standpoint. So
that seems weird though.
I want to.
Oh, no, sorry. I was going to say, based off of the last performance that you saw, that's probably what the odds makers are based on.
What did A&M do last?
They haven't played well. They lost to Notre Dame.
They lost first game of the year.
They beat Arkansas 21-17. That's not anything to brag about.
Arkansas, I'll tell you what.
They beat Bowling Green 26-20. Nothing to brag about there.
Bowling Green almost took it to Penn State.
Arkansas and Kentucky are a lot better than I think we like everybody thought coming in. Because Arkansas was it Oklahoma State? They gave Oklahoma State all they can handle.
Yes, they were
like
winning
a 10 and a half.
game.
Yeah, they were like a 10.5 point dog.
Yeah.
And Kentucky has given everybody trouble.
They always do. They're like that team that's like annoying to play against.
Yeah, like the Nat. Here's the thing. I think that with a break, I think Mizzou can correct a lot of its issues. I don't think Texas A&M is formidable. This is a game that you should win. If they have the same defensive problems that they did last week or the last couple of weeks, and if they're terrible on short yardage and they can't play a little bit of power football, then they're not going to be able to protect leads. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, I still got Mizzou as the better team. So if it's just a situation of they're playing at College Station, that's why they're an underdog, I would take Mizzou.
Question number 4.
From the 314, if sports gambling gets passed in Missouri, how will the Cards and Blues make money off of it?
I don't know how they I don't know the business model where they directly make money off of it. Anthony, maybe you can elaborate. I do know that there will be kiosks.
That's how.
There'll be kiosks on the concourse at Enterprise Center. There'll be kiosks at Ballpark Village. There'll be kiosks on the concourse at Busch Stadium. And I imagine those kiosks probably have a small percentage that goes to the place where they're located.
FanDuel or DraftKings or whoever would pay to have the kiosk there. And then you're right. There'd probably be some sort of kickback as well.
Yeah.
Now you got tax implications. You're gonna. This is why Missouri might pass the bill because of tax implications. But other than that, I don't know how else. You're right. I don't know how else they would make money.
I haven't seen the business model, so I can't speak to it.
Yeah, but having those kiosks in there.
But I can tell you this: the Blues ownership, people, front office people, and all that, and Cardinals. We heard it yesterday. Both groups seem pretty excited to have the bill pass. You don't get excited like that if somehow the roads don't lead back to your pockets.
Right. I agree.
Question number 5.
From the 661, happy spooky season, boys. What's the scariest movie you've ever seen?
Scariest movie I've ever seen.
I don't really get scared with movies.
This one, so you got to go back a ways, right? Because it's pretty tough to watch a movie now and be scared. Like, I don't know about you guys. Maybe you do. I don't know. Some people don't like horror movies. They don't bother me. Mm-hmm. But I remember when I was a kid, and I forget if my dad had rented this movie or a family friend, but I was supposed to be in bed And I wasn't. You could come down the stairs just a little bit, and I could peek and I could see the TV. I used to watch hockey games sitting on the stairs, and I'd get busted every now and then. Mumsy would see my shadow. She'd be like, "Get to bed." Well, this time here, all the lights are off. They're watching a horror movie. Mm-hmm. It was Nightmare on Elm Street. Now, let's go back, because I'm young. Yeah. I'm a kid at this point. And the reason it messed with me so bad is because if you fall asleep, you could die.
1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Yeah. 3, 4, better lock your door. And so I was sitting there, and I was watching the movie, and then when the movie was over, I was like, snuck up to bed. Like, I'm going to get in bed. And I was like, can't go to sleep. I'm not going to sleep. So I started trying to play music. I was trying to play games in my room with the light off. I was terrified. I'm like, don't fall asleep. If you fall asleep, you may not wake up.
Right.
So that, to me, was the most terrified I've ever been when it comes to a horror movie. But it was a combination of my age and then the whole, don't go to sleep thing.
Yeah,
it was
sure.
It messed with me.
Yeah, I don't think I'm not trying to do the tough guy thing here, but I don't think I've ever been necessarily freaked out while watching a horror movie. But I'm trying to think back to my kid.
Did you see one as a kid by accident?
Right. That's the thing I'm trying to think of.
I also had another moment where it was like a late Saturday night, and we'd come back from a hockey game or something, and Psycho, the original Psycho, was on.
Sure.
And it just happened to be we're sitting down eating chips or whatever, and there's a scene where he rips open the shower curtain and stabs the person to death.
Yeah.
So then after that, and I'm taking a shower the next day, I'm you hear a noise, who's in here? Who's in here? But again, I was young.
Yeah. I'm trying to go through some of these.
Exorcist is a good one. Filmed right here in St. Louis.
Oh, that's not good.
Really?
Yep.
Never knew that.
Now you know.
Thank you. Which one was it where it was one, and maybe The Ring, when the people came out of the TV, it was a little, that's a little creepy.
I've told this story. I've told this story before on air. The Ring came out when I was in college, I think.
Yeah.
Hell, it might have been video at that point. Video, DVD, whatever it was. I think it was DVD. And my only roommate was studying abroad, so I had the place to myself. So one of the nights, I don't know, I'm like, I'm going to watch a movie. So I rented the Ring. So a lot of people have seen The Ring. You watch that video, and it plays that video, and then homegirl comes out of the closet of the TV or wherever she's hiding at, and she's crawling up to you, and then she sucks the life out of you, right?
Sound too bad.
Sounds like a couple of relationships I had.
So anyways, they play that video again at the end of the movie. And so then the phone rings when obviously you watch the movie.
Yeah.
So at the end it speeds through, and then my phone rang. Immediately.
I got a story like that.
Scared the hell out of you.
And I'm watching it. This is at night and all that stuff. This thing goes through, and I'm in college, right? But it goes through it goes through the end. Immediately my phone rang.
So it must be, hang on, it must be something to do with that movie, because I totally forgot about this, and you just jarred my memory. Watch the movie Ring, and it is creepy, and it's
it is creepy.
It messes with you a little bit, but I'm like, all right, it's fine. I'm going to bed, no problem. This is when we had just built a house out in Cottleville, and Carson, my oldest, is an infant. I don't even know how old she is. We're working on her to go to bed in her own bed and in her big girl bed, all this stuff. And so now I'm watching TV. I think, my ex was asleep at the time, and I'm just watching TV late at night. All the lights are off, and all of a sudden the door goes, and there's a child crawling on the floor. I'm not kidding you. I would get her on here to tell the story. A child crawling on the floor in her nightgown, and I jump up. I'm like, hey, what was that? Lights go on, and I'm like, and then my ex jumps up. She's scared, and Carson's like, I just couldn't sleep. I'm like, oh my god, man. My heart rate was
oh yeah, definitely.
It
just catches you.
Oh man, did it ever?
So something similar happened to me. There's this movie called Oculus, which I think is a scary movie. It's about this mirror that if you have this mirror, it's weird stuff starts to happen, and people start dying and whatever, and there's a demon or whatever associated with this old this old mirror. And in the movie, they have this device that they're trying to essentially break the mirror. But if you start looking in the mirror long enough, you kind of get entranced, and all of a sudden you start becoming demonic or whatever.
Yeah.
But they have this device that they're trying to break the mirror, and it has this alarm that goes off that sounds like a fire alarm. And so I watched this movie, and spoiler, the alarm goes off, the thing comes down, and some bad stuff happens. That's just... I'll leave it at that if people want to watch the movie, if they haven't seen it. Anyways, I watched the movie. I'm in college, by the way. I go up to my dorm room because I was hanging out, a couple buddies, and we were watching this movie, and then we're, heading off to bed, whatever. Get in my room, and we have the mirrors that it's like you open it, and it's got like a little shelf and stuff, and then you can close it. And you usually see those types of mirrors in scary movies. Yeah. They shut the mirror, and there's somebody standing behind you. Right. So I'm brushing my teeth. I'm brushing my teeth, and I'm done. And the mirror is open.
Oh,
and
no.
so I put the toothbrush back in. Immediately, as I shut the mirror, the fire alarm goes off. And I literally stood there and I froze. And I was like, oh my God. I walked back into my dorm room because the bathroom's separate from there. I walk in, and my roommate, who also watched the movie, is staring at me, and he goes, what the hell? Like, he said some other words too, like, what the fast lane? And I'm like, dude, it was one of the scariest things that didn't have to happen, but it was very similar to your situation where you just watch this movie and all of a sudden your phone goes off. And you're like, immediately. Yeah,
it was crazy. By the way, it's my buddy. He's like, hey, man, you want to come over to have some beers? I'm like, yeah. Sure.
Question number 6.
All right, let's get back to sports. From the 314, does Alabama deserve the number 1 spot after almost choking their lead against Georgia?
No, I thought it should have still been Texas. I thought Bama and Georgia would just flip-flop.
Yeah.
Go to 4.
I disagree.
For Georgia, go to 2 for Alabama.
Sorry, I disagree.
Texas, to me, has been outstanding. And if you didn't, they've been putting up points. If you haven't lost and playing the way that they have, but it'll all figure itself out.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, when they beat Georgia, I figured they'd be number 1. Just because Texas that week was Mississippi State. Yeah. They, 4 played 2, 4 beat 2.
Yeah, that's why they should have just flip-flopped.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think Texas is still the number 1. I understand why they did it, but I think Texas should probably be number 1.
I don't think it's going to matter at the end of the year.
Nah, it's all fun though. Yeah. All right. Speaking of rankings, how about we get into the Stalter Stackup? So this has now become the Fast Lane Stackup, and we have disagreed virtually every week. So how do we rank the top 10 teams in the NFL? We'll get to that next on 101 ESPN. Jamie Rivers, Anthony Stalter, and our guy Stewie's on the line. And Stewie, I know you just wrapped up with a 101 ESPN listener recently, and you had an opportunity to help them save a bunch of money. How'd you do it?
You know what, Anthony? I just heard the last commercial, and I have a better way to improve people's lives, saving money. That'll get you excited. We had a great ESPN listener. Joe is his name. He loves you guys. Calls me up and said, hey, we just built this house. We just bought it like 5-6 months ago. Can we get a better deal? We're going to have to refinance them. Bagel loan, no closing costs, no full appraisal. is required, so you don't have to worry about value. Saving $360 a month.
Nice.
That is huge. That's so much money. So shout out to Joe. Congratulations. We'll get you done really quickly. You'll be on your way.
Yeah, and I can tell you, Anthony, personal experience, been working with Stewie on purchase of my home. It's unbelievable what Stewie can do for you and how easy he makes it. And this is why our listeners need to call Stewie. Call him on his personal cell phone number. Text him on that same number. That number's 314-324-4440.
Again, 314-324-4440.
I cannot express enough to all of our listeners to give Stewie a call. Even if somebody else has already talked to them, get a second opinion from our guy, Stewie. I promise you, you're going to be thrilled with the customer service you get. If you can't remember that number, Anthony, what can they do?
You can always Google the bag alone. Thanks, Stewie.
Good day, guys.
NMLS number 226715.
Oh, Sean McVay has the best playbook. Oh.
Stalter on the fumble.
Oh, my God. Anthony.
You like that? You like that?
You're wrong on this one, Anthony.
Anthony, who cares what you think?
On stacks, on stacks, on stacks.
Welcome back to the Fast Lane here on 101 ESPN. We're going to get to the Stalter Stackup, but it's that time of the year again. What time of year is that? That's Jamie's jersey giveaway. We have our first one that's going up. We put it on socials yesterday. It's a number 25 Jordan Cairo jersey, and it is signed. So please get on to the 101 ESPN website or the 101 ESPN mobile app and register to win that beautiful prize. Great jersey. It's going to be the first of many. Winner must be 21 or older, and our giveaway is courtesy of Bud Light. Bud Light, easy to drink, easy to enjoy.
All right, there you go. All right, guys, time for the Stalter Stack Up, which has turned into the Fast Lane Stack Up, basically. But when we do, what do you want, Marsh? One?
Okay.
I like
Number one.
You like that? Yeah, I like going in reverse, but that's okay.
Chiefs. I got the Kansas City Chiefs still here. They're very vulnerable. But through 4 weeks, they're still 4-0, and they still have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I realize they lose Rashee Rice, but that defense is still stout. They've got issues to iron out, but so do the Ravens, and we still, love the Ravens. And then all of a sudden they beat the Bills, and Carey's got them winning a Super Bowl again. So I think we can do the same thing with the Chiefs. Like, even though they're vulnerable, they're still winning games.
Yeah.
So I still got the Chiefs one. I'm not going to remove them unless they lose.
I do not have the Chiefs at number one this week. And this, for me, is, I said to Carey, power rankings are living in the now, right? And in the now, my number one team is the Minnesota Vikings.
Skull!
That's who I've got. They've been the most impressive team this year in the NFL. By the way they've played, the points they've put up. I know the Chiefs have won games, and I'm not disrespecting that, but they're not winning games like in a way where you're like, man, that's a good team. Travis Kelce's barely catching the ball, barely targeting him. Rashee Rice is going out. The running game's been, but they've got Patrick Mahomes, which is great. but I don't have them at number 1 this week.
Are you doing so? I'm interested just the way you said that, Jamie. Do you guys do the rankings based on like who's just been like impressive resume wise,
No,
or do you?
It's in the now.
I know that,
because
but
power rankings are like in the last week.
to week.
It's week to week.
So if the Chiefs and the Vikings met in the parking lot, you taking the Vikings?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I don't.
Why are you challenging my freaking opinion?
I don't believe.
I'm asking you.
Why does mine have to be match yours? Like that's what you're angry at.
I think.
Gary, that's what he's mad at.
I think if I said, Jamie, we need to do this my way, then you'd have something to kind of stand on there.
No, but you kind
I
of
was
just
asking
did.
you what your thought process
But then
was.
you backed it up by challenging me by saying, "Well, if they played the parking lot."
I was interested to know what your opinion was
Who
on
has
the.
looked? Let's just be honest here.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to do it to you.
Sure.
Okay? Who has looked more impressive?
The Vikings.
There you go.
Now ask me my question. The one I just asked you.
If they met in the parking lot,
Yes.
like playing for the Super Bowl right now,
If they met in the parking lot right now, Vikings and Chiefs, I would take the Chiefs.
I would take the Chiefs too. Thank you. Really? Yeah. But right now, for me, week to week to week,
I got
the
you.
Vikings last week were more impressive.
Gotcha.
I got the Chiefs as well. Number 1. Nah, just parking lot. I trust them. Marcia got the Chiefs as well.
No, I don't.
What you got?
I have the Minnesota Vikings. Number 1, baby.
Marshy.
Number 1. They've been more impressive than the Chiefs.
There's really no wrong answer, though.
I don't like this.
What do you mean?
I don't like this for you.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we already established yesterday.
I might have to rethink my pick 'em.
I know.
We established yesterday that I'm going to continue to root on my team and pick them.
You should.
Yeah, but you never do.
I might not pick them next week.
We did last week, though. We got a scare, but they still won.
Next week.
They got the Jets this week.
Yeah, Jets this week. Next week they're on a bye. Then they have Detroit.
Let me state, I don't like this at all for you.
He'll be all right.
Hey, what do you want me to do, Anthony? Do you want me to make them number 2? Because they're not.
please.
Because they're the best team in the NFL right now.
That's where I got them.
Where do you have them?
Number 2.
Who?
The Vikings.
Fire up 2.
Number 2.
I got the Vikings.
There we go.
Best team in the NFC right now. They've been the most impressive. Can't put them in front of the Chiefs because they don't have Patrick Mahomes. Other than that, the Vikings have been the best team.
This is where I have the Chiefs. So
I have the Detroit Lions.
yeah.
I think they're better than the Chiefs.
Lions and Chiefs
what have
meet
the
in the
Chiefs
parking lot.
done? Yeah, they're 4-0. What did they do?
They didn't lose. I'll tell you what they didn't do. They didn't lose to the Bucks
That's fair. Bucks are 3-1.
at home.
They did not lose to the Bucks.
Play in the parking lot right now, Anthony. I think the
Chiefs.
Lions are beating the Chiefs.
Nah.
Who are they throwing the
Red
ball
Nation.
to?
Travis Kelce.
no, they're not. Look
and
at the stats.
Xavier Worthy. And then
They
a
throw it
week,
to him like
Davante
twice.
Adams. Who was he throwing to last year? When he placed another Lombardi trophy on the
who he was
mantle.
throwing to the guy that he took out this past
He
week.
sure did. He didn't like him. That's what I heard.
Oh, the rookie. Come on. Well, I heard the same thing last year. He doesn't have anything to throw. Come on, Marsh.
Number 3.
You're right.
Number
he will win
three.
number 3 in a row.
Here's your 3.
Ravens.
Whoa. Woof. You just went after Carey. And now you follow up with that?
Here's the thing. I like the Ravens. They just played like crap over the first 2 weeks.
I ain't mad at you.
I almost swore. And then they fast laned the Bills. They just fast laned all over the Bills.
They did.
And they kind of look like the team that I thought they were going to be coming into the year. So it wasn't that difficult for me to just like shot put them back into the top 5.
Well, I can't shot put them into the top 5, but at number 3, I've got the Lions.
I got the Lions there as well. I thought the game they played against the Seahawks was a really good game. They were clicking on all levels. So I got the Lions right there at 3.
I have the Kansas City Chiefs at number 3.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
You guys
They
happy
made the
now?
top 5.
Who's Patrick Mahomes throwing to now?
Oh, God, Anthony. Number 4, please.
Travis Kelce.
Number 4.
Lions. I got the Lions there. The way that that offense was unstoppable on Sunday night.
It was pretty fun to watch.
Their defense stunk, but Geno Smith. But they got Geno'd. Like Geno
Their
Smith.
tackling was not good.
No.
They did not do a good job.
Uniforms look good though.
They did. Love the helmets.
Me too.
Awesome.
Number 4, I've got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Wow. Ooh.
That's a high one, but guys,
You are going to be let down. You're setting yourself up.
Yeah, were they saying that a couple years ago? Super Bowl, Carey?
Oh, yeah, Tom. Okay, man. All right, I got number 4. What the heck?
All right.
Baker Mayfield.
Same team.
Let me write that down. Baker Mayfield is now Tom Brady.
Except for one guy. One guy can't make that much of a
That's
difference.
right. Bruce Arians no longer the head coach. Todd Bowles goes
He's
from
still
DC
standing
to
at
head
home,
coach.
unplugged with his headset on.
Calling plays.
Does he have that face shield on, too?
Nobody's listening.
That was great.
I got the Baltimore Ravens right here. I would have put them at 3. I just couldn't put them there 2-2. Lions are 3-1. So I had to put the Lions ahead of them.
Right.
But the Baltimore Ravens are my team.
Number 4, I have Baltimore as well.
Yep.
Baltimore as well at number 4.
All right, do you want to carry this over? Or?
5.
Bills.
Okay, Commanders.
Seahawks.
Whoa. Commanders.
Yes. Guys,
it's a prisoner of the moment.
But that's the whole drill, Carey. It's a prisoner of the moment. How were they last week? They were fantastic.
You got them better than the 49ers?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't even have the 49ers on my list.
I don't have the Commanders on my list. Who's yours? And then we'll carry them.
Seahawks.
Okay.
I have the Bills.
All right, we'll carry this over. We got Commanders.
We got to talk about it.
We got to talk about
Look
this.
at the tape.
What tape?
The video. You know? Come on.
We'll continue this next on What ESPN.
My friends over at Twin Peaks, they are doing it right. They've got so many great things going on. They've got a new food rollout that runs through the end of the month. Get your axe to the lodge. That's right, your axe. For the freshest menu edition, spice up your wing order with new sauces featuring the chicken tikka or spicy chili crisp. That is really, really good. But something I absolutely love and just had it the other day. It's fantastic. It's the tacos. New quesadilla tacos. The 3 crispy flour tortillas stuffed with in-house smoked brisket, mozzarella, onions, and cilantro, served with birria broth for dipping, pickled red onions. It is unbelievable. You pair that up with an ice-cold beer, coldest beer you're going to find out there, and you have yourself a great night as well. Let's not forget also about some of the desserts. The desserts are absolutely fantastic. They've got some great stuff with ice cream. Sundae, it looks beautiful. It comes in a little pan. It's got the chocolate brownie underneath. You're absolutely going to love it. And they've got the big screens going, the TVs everywhere watching college football, baseball playoffs, NFL football. The Blues will be on next week. Don't miss it. Head over to Twin Peaks right now. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
101 ESPN Sports Center.
I'm Andrew Marsh. It's time for a Sports Center update brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling. Your St. Louis Blues lost to the Columbus Blue Jackets last night, preseason. 3-1 the final score. They'll take on the Dallas Stars tomorrow with the pregame starting at 6, and you can listen to that right here on 101 ESPN. A little Major League Baseball postseason update. The Detroit Tigers are moving on. They swept Houston in the AL wildcard round, a 5-2 victory in game number 2. Kansas City currently leads the Baltimore Orioles in their series 1-0. However, that game is tied right now in the top of the 6th inning, 1-1 the score. The Mets will take on Milwaukee tonight as the Mets lead that series 1-0. And you can listen to game number 2 between the Padres and the Braves tonight right here on 101 ESPN as the Padres lead that series 1-0. Pregame starts at 7 o'clock. We're going to continue the Stalter Stackup NFL Week 4. That's coming your way next right here in the Fast Lane. I'm Andrew Marsh, and the Sports Center update is brought to you by Saliga Heating and Cooling, an independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Oh, Sean McVay has the best playbook. Oh.
Stalter on the fumble.
Oh my God. Anthony.
You like that? You like that?
You're wrong on this one, Anthony.
Anthony, who cares what you think?
On stacks, on stacks, on stacks.
All right, let's continue this. Actually, let's go back.
Let's go back. Don't go anywhere.
Commanders.
Oh, Carey, you zip it, okay? You told... No, listen to me for a second. Look me in the eyes, okay? Your mother told you look at someone in the eyes. You, my friend, sat there, dug your heels in, mocked me, called me horrible things when I said that the Arizona Cardinals aren't that good. What happened when the Commanders...
They're terrible.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry.
What happened when the Commanders played the Cardinals, Carey? Tell me right now.
They beat the hell out of them.
They beat the hell out of your Arizona Cardinals.
All right.
And now you're going to tell me that my Commanders at 3-1, who have done nothing except put points on the board, 42, by the way, against the Cardinals, 38 against the Bengals.
They got the Browns this week. We'll see.
They're going to beat the pants off of them, too.
They should.
So, in the moment, my power rankings, and by the way, what place are they in their division?
First.
Yeah. What the hell? I can't even believe I have to explain this.
I'm sorry. You're right, Jamie. You're the football guy. I'm the hockey guy. I apologize.
By the way, big win in hockey today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you know?
Carey Davis.
So, yeah, the Commanders. Move along. Come on. Let's go.
Let's go to
number 6. This is where I got the 49ers, guys. They're going to get healthy at some point. They're going to be back in the top 5, but as of right now, you can't put them any higher than where they're at. They've got a couple of nasty losses there. Patriots, not a test.
Nah.
So I'll leave the 49ers here. And I think this week, I think they got a divisional game, Arizona. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that defense, which has not played well beyond last week, how they stack up against the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. But for now, I got the 49ers here.
I have the Ravens here. I too have watched them the last couple of weeks, and it's amazing what happens when you have one of the best running backs in the game and you actually use them. So the Ravens, to me, are climbing up the standings. I got them here at 6.
For me, I had the Buccaneers here. That was a huge win against the Philadelphia Eagles at home, despite all of the things that the Tampa area went through last week with the hurricane. Yeah. Still able to perform at a high level. I got the Buccaneers right here.
I have the Seattle Seahawks at number 6. I thought they played pretty decent in that second half against my number 2 team in the Detroit Lions. So give me Seattle at number 6.
Number 7, thank you.
This is where I have the Buccaneers. That was an impressive win over Philadelphia, coming off the loss. They read their headlines, their press clippings, the week against Denver, and the Broncos really just kind of beat them soundly. Took whatever Tampa was showing them defensively and went up and down the field on them. And Baker Mayfield didn't look great. But last week against Philly, I mean, they go into Detroit and beat them. Then they get the Eagles at home. Did whatever they want to them. That Washington team that Jamie loves and everybody else is loving right now, 3-1. The one loss, Tampa whipped them in week 1.
They did.
So I got the Bucs here.
Oh, yeah, my turn. I've got the 49ers here. I too. It's bound to happen. They're not great right now, but they're too good to not be in here.
For me, I got the Bills here. Last week, I had them at number 2 because I was peer pressured to put them there. They're suited right where they should be, at the bottom of the list. They lose this week to the Texans. They'll be off my list.
Number 7, I have Tampa Bay.
This is your fault.
You want them to lose to the Texans.
I want to be right. I want to be so right.
I have Tampa at number 7 as well, Anthony.
All right.
Number 8.
I struggle with this one, but I do have the Texans here at 8. I don't think they've looked overly impressive, but you could do that with every other team that you kind of want to slot in here, at least for me. I know they're a really solid football team. I don't think that they've quite ironed out who they want to be on offense. Joe Mixon has been out the last, 2 weeks now? Mm-hmm. So I think when they get him back, maybe that offense will start to have an identity again. But the defense looks really good. Yeah. So they haven't been overly impressive, but it's one of those deals where I'm like, you know what? If I got to choose between them or like the Seahawks or the Packers or somebody, I'm gonna take the Texans. So I got Houston here.
All right, I got the Bills here. They're still in my top 10. They took a beating by the Ravens. They're still 3-1 on the season. So until I see them play another quality team and get waxed again, I have to think that maybe it was a one-off. I don't know if I believe that, but time will tell. But for now, they're right there at number 8.
I have the Steelers here. Dropped them back 1 spot from last week. It's a tough loss last weekend, but I think Justin Fields figured some things out. If they can figure out how to get this running game going, and if they make a decision to go get Davante Adams, that would definitely help all aspects of offense. So, yeah, be a good decision for all parties involved.
I have the Houston Texans at number 8 as well. I'm in the same camp as you, Anthony. I don't know if they're good, but they're not. Like, I don't really know what's going on with them, but they're still a top 10 team for me in the NFL. So give me Houston at number 8.
Number 9.
All right, number 9, I got the Seattle Seahawks. I agree with Marsh when he said a couple of minutes ago that they have looked very impressive offensively, or they did look very impressive offensively. Defensively, they're terrible against Detroit, but they also were missing a bunch of guys up front. Mike McDonald can coach. He's solid defensive. We've seen what he was able to do when he's got his full guys. So I got Seattle at 9.
At 9, I've got the Texans. I'm watching that team, and they're the best team in their division. For me, they're a top 10 team right now, so that's where I've got them.
I have the 49ers here. They got a win last week, but they're 2-2. They're supposed to beat the Patriots, and they beat them handily. But something ain't right. Maybe when they get everybody back healthy, we'll get to see the true version of the 49ers.
Give me the eventual NFC East champion Washington Commanders at number 9.
Okay.
Nice pick.
Thank you. I don't know if I'm
size 5, but
yeah, it's a little bit different.
You know
but
what? Some people view the world differently.
Very true.
Anthony?
Yep, you're right.
Number 10.
I got Carey's Pittsburgh Steelers for now.
You didn't have to add that. Okay.
Like, I struggle with this one.
That's okay.
I thought about Green Bay.
All right.
But
Steelers are 3-1. Cheers.
For now, I got the Steelers here.
All
Impressive
right.
defensively, offensively. They're puke.
Yeah. So I did have the Steelers, and then I scratched them out.
I did too, and then I put them back.
I didn't put them back in. I put the Seahawks here because I look at the losses this past week, and the Steelers looked way worse in their loss than the Seahawks did, who put up a pretty good fight against the Lions. So I get Seahawks here.
Here, I have the Washington Commanders.
Oh boy, Carey, welcome to the club.
The 10th spot.
See? I knew you'd find
They're
your
on
way.
the list. They ain't at 5.
That's okay. Doesn't matter. That's why we have our own lists. Okay, guys? Be laughing next week when they're 4-1.
Oh, give me the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 10.
Commanders here.
For now.
I was waiting for it. All right, we'll wrap up the show next here in the Fast Line on 101 ESPN.
Gentlemen, listen up. Are you feeling like you've lost your edge? If your energy, your focus, or your drive isn't what it used to be, it's time to get back on track with Mentality Health. They are your local experts in testosterone replacement therapy, and it's easy. You walk in, you talk to a board-certified physician, you tell them what you're experiencing, and everybody has something different that they go through. But the staff over at Mentality, they recognize the signs, and then they ask specific questions. Anthony, remember, they're awesome at that. You feel comfortable talking about it. Then they got the blood panel, and that's where they find out exactly what your program is going to be from now on.
Well, Jamie, you mentioned the kind of like the symptoms, right, or how you're feeling. Well, here's some symptoms of low testosterone: fatigue and low energy. If you're feeling tired all the time, it might be more than just stress. Low testosterone could also be the issue. Weight gain and muscle loss. If you're struggling to keep the weight if you're struggling to keep the weight on, if you're used to being kind of bulked up, or if you're struggling to keep the weight off constantly. Low testosterone levels could also be the culprit. Mood swings, irritability. If you're angry all the time, you're frustrated all the time, go down to Mentality. 2 different locations, one in South County, one in Chesterfield. Tell them that Jamie and Anthony sent you in there, but Mentality can help you with a program that increase your testosterone naturally. It's covered by most insurances as well. And if you want more information, lowtusa.com is where you can find it. But visit Mentality today, or again, check them out online, and tell them again, Jamie and Anthony sent you in there. Mentality, they're fantastic, and it'll get you right back on the right track there when it comes to making you feel great and high energy and
like a man again.
Jamie just said it. It's Mentality. if you missed anything from today's show, you can always download the podcast available at 101ESPN.com or on your 101 ESPN mobile app. It's all brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. All right, did we all lose last night?
Yep.
Wow.
Losers.
Just a wash right across the street. It happens. Yep. All right, Carey.
Marcell Ozuna, 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs. We got some time, Jimmy.
All right, I'm going right to the same game. Money line play, though. Musgrove on the bump. I think he holds Ozuna scoreless in this one, just saying. Minus 116 on that one. I got the Padres.
Anthony, I have a feeling I know what you want.
I got a feeling.
You think Max Fried's going to have a good game tonight, don't you?
I do.
Give me the Atlanta Braves at plus 105 money line.
It's a great play.
Oh, stop.
Give me the Mets plus 105.
I like that play.
The Brewers are done.
Toast?
Toast.
Sean Manaea wasn't great his last outing, though. I looked at that game, and I was like,
Have you seen Frankie Montaz's?
No, I didn't.
Numbers?
Oh, yeah, he lost that game. I picked the Brewers for one of those games, too. Cost me.
Yeah.
All right.
So, Milwaukee, nice regular season. You won as many games as the Cardinals did in the playoffs.
Hey, they got another chance. What are you talking about?
Yeah. You know what I mean.
Nah. So you might as well not make it, then. I got it.
By the way, Marsh, you had the live 11 and a half.
Yeah, we just got a text about that, actually, from the 314.
That was awful.
Marsh's under 11 and a half last night was brutal.
Oh, man.
The score was, it wasn't that.
It was like 2-1 when you made it, right? Or something.
No, 4-3.
It was 4-3.
It was 3-3 when I made it. Right after I said it, it was then 4-3. Then they tied it, made it 4-4. Game ended up 8-4, so it hit 12.
But it was 8-4 within like a half hour.
Oh, yeah.
And
I got home, and it was 8-4.
And it ended 8-4. They didn't score another run after that. So they just they wanted to stick it to Marsh and move on.
They hate me.
They do.
They hate me. He hate me.
He hate me.
They hate us because they hate us.
That's right. All right, Marsh, what do you got for criticisms and compliments?
From the 573, how the hell do none of you have Green Bay? They won 2 games with a running back at quarterback.
Yeah. Well,
okay. Well, the Steelers have won 3 games with a running back at quarterback.
How'd they do last week?
They lost.
Oh, they lost, eh? Yeah, okay.
The Vikings.
Good
To
for
your
them.
number 1 Vikings.
That's right.
How'd they do last week? They lost? Yeah. Nice season.
We got a message from Lisa. The spooky movie segment was awesome. Thanks for the smiles. Have a good night.
Lisa. Thank you, Lisa. You have a good night.
From the 636, compliment. Your show saved me. I woke up an hour late and was catching up all day. You make me laugh so hard, 5:30 came fast. Thank you, Amazon Rick. Skull. Vikings.
That's right, Rick.
Thanks, Rick.
Yes, thanks
for
very
listening.
much.
From the 314, Jamie is right. Anthony sucks. LOL.
I didn't say you
What
suck.
the heck?
Did I say that? I don't think I said you suck.
No, you didn't say that.
I didn't say
I think
that.
the texter just said that.
Oh, they said Jamie's right. Anthony sucks. I thought they were saying
Correct.
Jamie's right because he said Anthony sucks.
No, I think the texter is saying that I suck.
You would never say that
No, I wouldn't say
to
that.
his face.
I don't know. If I'm going to do it, I'll make sure it's in his face. I want to get the real reaction.
You know what? Your opinion or the opinion of this Arizona Diamondback is none of my business.
Yeah.
That's well said. You know, what people think about you is none of
It's
your
none
business.
of my business.
You know?
I think you should know.
I definitely.
Well, that person is so obsessed with me, he decided to text in that. So
He said LOL.
he's stuffed.
He was joking.
Like, honest
He's a
question.
Diamondback, and you know it, Carey.
Honest question for you guys. If somebody thinks you're an a-hole, wouldn't you rather know they think
I would
you're
rather
an
you
a-hole?
tell me.
Yeah.
If I feel like that about you, I would tell you first. So
Yeah.
I would be like, Jamie, you're an a-hole. So when Anthony came and told you, hey,
Carey says you're an a-hole.
You'd be like, I already know. You told me.
Yeah.
And I also know then where I stand
There
with
you go. Exactly.
So now I can be like, yeah, Carey thinks I'm an a-hole. I can either work to mend that relationship or go, yeah, Carey's
He's
an
an
a-hole
a-hole
too,
too.
and never talk to him again.
You go that way.
Probably.
No, you will enough. You're like, I don't give a damn. He's the same to him. I told him so much when he told me. Hell with that guy.
I love this text line. From the 314, Tony doesn't suck. Next text from the 812, Anthony does suck.
Thank you.
From the 573, I love you guys so much, I feel like I could become a stalker.
Whoa.
Hey.
All right.
Thank you.
It's a compliment, right?
It's a huge compliment.
Scary, but it's a compliment.
That's all right.
Just say hi when you see us.
That's right. By the way, after we did that whole segment, you weren't there. We said that at the brewery that day. Well, I stuck around for the Blues and Brews, and it was funny. I had a number of people that come up and said, "Hey, Jamie," introduced me and said, "You told us, just say hi."
Oh, there you go. That's awesome.
And I was like, "Well, hey, nice to see you guys." They were obviously listening to the show, so that was cool.
That's awesome.
All right, let's get to our 3 stars real quick. Our 3rd star of the day goes to Charlie Conway. Charlie. 2nd star of the day goes to Anthony's Detroit Tigers.
Congratulations.
7.5.
Those dirty asteroids.
1st star of the day goes to Speed, the movie, of course.
That's right.
Movie.
Yes.
What's the line?
Not the other thing.
Tell that Wildcat.
Tell that Wildcat behind the wheel to keep it under 55.
Yeah. Text line was blowing up with answers.
Oh, yeah, 3 answers.
For Andrew Marsh, for Carey Davis, for Jamie Rivers, I'm Anthony Stalter. See you.